24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the Weather Center. 89 degrees for the high temperature this afternoon, looking at partly cloudy skies. Once we hit the evening commute time around 4 to 5 o'clock, we'll see a few isolated thunderstorms popping up. 65 overnight tonight, and tomorrow early in the morning, some cloud cover and a quick sprinkle. Other than that, partly to mostly cloudy with a chance of some evening thunderstorms and a high of 88. Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. We do have a level 1 risk for evening thunderstorms, and Sunday looks even wetter.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 539 points to 41,292. Market update brought to you by the Body Armor State Games. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Chikrin now, chance to score! Walker sends it up front. Second chance, they score! Jackson Blake looking Jarvis, he scores! Roslovic feathers it, Stankovic scores! He's winning clean. Blake on the backhand, and he scores! Chatfield swings down McMichael. Brute strength. He'll get the takedown.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Caps Canes. We know what the setup is. We just don't know when it's going to happen. You heard what happened last couple times they played. You just heard some of those highlights. I'm sure there will be highlights. We are still waiting on a schedule. If we hear anything, we'll pass it along to you. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. What do we potentially like 5 game 7s across the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs? Makes it a little difficult to schedule it around, I guess.
Yeah, there's still one potential game 7 for Sunday. That's it. That's if the Winnipeg Jets don't put away the St. Louis Blues tonight. But otherwise, we got one game 7 tomorrow. That's it.
Still waiting.
Still waiting.
It's okay, though, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get ready for when it comes to Canes Caps, because there's layers to this thing, right? Part of it is just focused on the Canes, right? Part of it is nameless, faceless opponent, whoever's over there. There are certain things the Canes have to take care of. It appears as if they're getting a bit healthier, which the break is nice. There's improvements on things that they have to make from the Devils series. That's one side. And then, as you'll hear right here from Rod Brindamore, he believes their core group is ready for the next round and ready for pushing further into the playoffs.
Well, I think all the guys that have been here now for a while and have experienced this, you can just tell they're excited and all that, but it's like we got to keep going, right? We got to keep going, and so and they're saying the same things. I mean, it's you get down to this final 8. I mean, it's going to be tight. We know it, and it's going to come down to play here or there probably, and we just got to try to find ways to make more of them.
The core group, the ones that have been here a lot, because they do it every darn year, they should be very comfortable winning a playoff series and going into the next round. And it is about doing the things that they haven't done every year, which would be winning more series from this point forward. They've done it a few times. They want to do it again. Now they're resting up, which is nice. And I, the longer you go without knowing when, they're not going to schedule the start of a series, 12 hours from when they announce it. It's not going to be tonight, like, hey, by the way, tomorrow afternoon at 3. Like, it's not going to happen in that way. So they will have a little bit of time. They will have a little bit of rest. And for really every team, that's going to be valuable at this point in the season. We'll hear from one of the players, Shane Gostisbehere, one of the blue liners, on the benefits of the added rest this week.
This part of the year, I think rest is a weapon. When you play a hard playoff series like we just did, physically you're definitely drained, but mentally too. It takes a lot to get up for these games and to play in these games, especially when some of these games are going to go to overtime. You're playing maybe, I know it said 5 games, but it's almost like 6. So for us, rest is a weapon, and whenever we play, we'll be ready.
So that's one side of it. That's another layer of it is the rest. Another layer. You can just look at this matchup. It's an intriguing one, right? You remove the history, remove the 2019 series, remove the fights a month ago, remove all of that. And it's a fascinating tactical matchup, right? If we boil it down to the most simplest of terms, it feels kind of like speed versus size or skill versus size, where the Capitals are brute strength, and they're the more physically like mass. They have more mass on their lines. They're going to be a little bit bigger. Meanwhile, the Canes, kind of as a franchise staple, has not been afraid to draft, develop, and roster and play some smaller dudes if they have the appropriate skill and talent to make up for it. Right, and that right there is always interesting, right? When you have clashing styles matching up in a series of this magnitude, it's gonna be something you want to watch, right? I don't know if it's fair to boil it straight down to this, but the image of Stankoven shoving Tom Wilson, right? It showed Stankoven, not the biggest dude, Tom Wilson, whatever, 6'4", 200 whatever pounds. It was stark. Like, that is kind of how some people view this series. And it becomes, how do you make up for the opposite, right? Washington wants to try to match the skill, and the Canes, despite maybe a lack of size, want to match the physicality or exceed the physicality. Who do you lean on there? Who steps up? Who goes, guys, I got the punch today? And I'm not talking about actually dropping the gloves. I'm talking about the metaphorical punch. I'm going to meet him in the middle of the ring. Caps have the first 2 games at home, which means the Canes are going to be tone setting on the road. I think that's significant, especially when you look at the home and road splits that the Canes had this regular season. They are a much better team just by numbers at home than they are on the road. They're going to have to change that. But there's also weird things happening with the Caps. Dennis pointed it out yesterday, and I said we'd bring it up again today. Their penalty kill was bad. What are we going to say? Like 3 levels below what they were in the regular season in the first round of the playoffs against Montreal. There's something like 80% kill during the regular season, all the way down to 66% during the first round. That's something they have to solve independent of who they're playing against. And then I would say the final layer to this, or if you wanted to nitpick, we go into 75 different layers. But another one is the history. The 2019 Canes Cap series, which went to Game 7, and ironically, the Game 5 against the Devils had a lot of first time since Game 7 against the Caps in 2019. Right, it was the first double overtime game that the Canes had won since then. Maybe the only other double overtime game that they've won in the postseason. There was a lot of those kind of bringing it up statistics. But that 2019 series, right, that win, McGinn, shout out, that win, in a lot of ways announced the arrival of the Rod Brindamore head coaching Carolina Hurricanes era. right? They made the playoffs for the first time in a while. Then they won that series, and it was the immediate, okay, not the Canes we've seen for the last however many years it had been, decade of some really tough hockey. So how ironic would it be, or how fitting would it be, if they leveled up there and then they took another level up a bunch of years later against the same team? In that 2019 series, Caps go up 2-0. What happens in Game 3? A 19-year-old rookie, Andrei Svechnikov, dropped the gloves with Alexander Ovechkin and kind of got pummeled.
No kind of there.
I was being nice to our guy. If you give him a little trap, he kind of took the worst of it. But, right, you look big picture, what happened after that? Right, that game ended up being one of the sparks that turned the series, and you never know what was maybe it's all right, we got to go get him back for Svech because that didn't look good. Whatever it was, it worked and it flipped, and that history is now coming back. Ovechkin, obviously on the back nine, now the all-time leading scorer. Svechnikov having lived a life since then, the ups and downs, and become a main contributor and everything else. Like, that's now they're getting a chance to match up in the postseason again. There's history here.
By the way, that Game 3 where Svech got knocked out in that fight, Jordan Martinook also left that game with an injury as well. They were down to 10 forwards less than 10 minutes into the game. I remember asking Rob Brindamore after the game, how difficult was it? And he says, actually, it made it easier because I had no choice. I just had to go with the next three guys. Yeah. Like, there was nothing to think about. You just had to go with the next three.
Who is not actively panting? Get in there.
That's basically what it was.
The hard part for Rob was probably, this was a decent amount of years ago. The hard part for Rob was probably not going, give me a pads, wear the helmet, give me a stick.
Yeah, for real.
If we need me, I'm here.
I'll take this face off.
Justin Williams was still out there.
Yeah.
And he's going like, I know how to play with that guy. Come on, let's go. There's again, it's cool to see the Brindamore era, right? You could call it whatever era you want. The Aho area. There's a bunch of different ways. But the Brindamore era, I think it's cool to have kind of that spot check of this is where we were against that team this many years ago. In the meantime, they've won a cup. We've had 7 straight years of winning a postseason series, and now we're matching up, and we're going to have to go battle it out again.
Yeah, that couple things from that 2019 first-round series was the year Washington, or it was the year after Washington had won a cup. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to build off of that. But also my favorite stat from that series, 4 games in Washington, the Hurricanes led for 0 seconds and still won that series. Led for 0 seconds on the road and still won the series.
Well, based on this year, they might have to find a way to do that again.
Hey, fine, whatever you got to do.
Because the home and road splits are pretty dramatic. But it's gonna be a fun one whenever we get to play it, whenever we get to watch it. It's gonna be a fun one. And I'll just put it this way: we don't know when, but it will be here on 99.9 The Fan. You will be able to hear it right here on the home for Canes hockey. It'll be a hockey night in Carolina, whatever night it's played. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You may be saying you listed like 7 layers to this game, and you missed a pretty darn important one, which is the goalies. Is Freddie back? Will he be back? Should Piotr get it? We're doing that whole conversation. We've saved time for it. Right after this, don't go anywhere. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, back in a second.
Move your sports day forward.
All right, now that we got that warm and fuzzy welcome back series over with New Jersey, it's now time to dig deep, folks, and find your best, bless your heart, for the Washington Capitals. This is going to be a rough series. Get ready. A roller coaster ride is coming, and remember, you don't have to cheer Ovi. He's already got the record.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Carolina Baseball hosts the NC State Wolfpack next weekend at Boshamer Stadium for a 3-game matchup. The series begins Thursday, May 8th at 6 p.m. The first 750 fans in attendance will get the last trading card pack of the 2025 Diamond Heels. The second game of the series is May 9th at 6 with fireworks and Michael Busch bobblehead night. The series finale and senior day is Sunday, May 11th at 1 p.m. Tickets for this rivalry series are going fast, so get your tickets today at GoHeels.com.
Now a long shot from Hamilton right on, and the save is made there by Anderson. Turning out in front, Anderson with another save, and he'll paddle it to safety.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We got to talk goalies. We got to do it. Got to do it. Earlier this week, yesterday, feels longer ago, we did Cons and Cons. For those of you that are unaware, it's where we pick a team and we say, what are you most concerned about? What are you most confident? It's kind of, confident about. Never mind. Cons and Cons. And we did it for the Carolina Hurricanes. We call it Hurricanes and Cons. And when it came to what are you most concerned about, we pretty much settled on if you polled a bunch of Canes fans and said, what are you most concerned about moving forward? An overwhelming majority of them are going to say something involving goalie, right? Whether it's the health of a goalie, the play of a goalie, the support of a goalie, the word goalie was going to be in your answer somewhere most likely, unless you were kind of thinking outside the box. That's not the best thing to have on your list of concerns in the postseason. Let's just put it out there, right? You want your goalies to be healthy and great form, and the best statistics in the league and all of that just gives you a certain peace of mind. That's not where the Canes are, right? Can't control it, so you gotta deal with it. Freddie Anderson, who had been the guy going into the postseason, right? Goalie 1, playing exceptionally well during the beginning of that Devil series before getting hurt. He is practicing today, or he was on the ice today. I want to make sure we get the appropriate terminology.
Full participant in practice.
Full participant. There you go. Which is great to hear. Which is fantastic to hear. And I believe it should be his net if he is healthy. Pyotr Kochetkov got the start in Game 5, and we'll talk about what led to everything else. But if he would have posted something ridiculous, if he would have had a 40-save night, if he would have done something awesome, I think you consider letting the hot hand ride. But didn't happen that way. They went in double overtime, and I think now there's no Wally Pipp situation. You go back to Freddie if he's healthy and he's good enough to be effective. Rod Brindamore talked about the goalies providing the crucial saves when needed, which is pretty darn important.
It always comes down to you got to get those saves, and certainly, it's the nature of that position. It always seems to fall on it, but you got to get timely saves, and you got to give us a chance to stay in games when maybe we're not playing our best. So that's what he's done for sure.
That's what he's done for sure. So, yes, I believe it's Freddie's net if he's healthy. Here's the thing, though. There is more to the success, or there's more to fixing, or more to, it's not just, Freddie's healthy, put him in there. Everything's solved, right? We're talking about, no more concerns. Checked that one off the list. Now we can forget about it. It's not that simple. Right, and I agree. Looking at how Piotr's playing, and at times Freddie, that they haven't always been at their best. But I want to second what many have said, which is the skaters have to help them out. Right, if Freddie's healthy, if Piotr's in net, or if Freddie's not healthy and Piotr's in net, if Freddie's healthy, he's in net. If you're rotating through, whatever the decision Rod Brindamore ends up making, there has to be an emphasis on making the goalie's job easier, especially when that's part of your identity. Right? With the Canes system, possession, right? Holding the puck, taking shots away from shots on goal off of your goaltender's plate. Do that, right? Do that. Clear the puck. Limit turnovers. Make good decisions, right? If shots are going to challenge your goaltender, make them ones that he's prepared for, and make them ones that you have a chance of blocking, and you're limiting angles. And that goes for everybody. Everybody. Every goalie in the history of the world. Some you depend on to maybe save you more, but these aren't those guys. Right? You don't have the all-time greats back there. Pretty good goaltenders, but you don't have the all-time greats. So handle your business. And then lastly, and I say this with an emphasis, stay out of the box if you can. Right? I really like that we've seen these goaltenders, meaning Freddie and Piotr very, very well in Game 5. We've seen them struggle, and it hasn't rattled them to their core. We've seen them have the mental focus to lock back in after a tough stretch. I don't want to keep testing that, right? And things like going in the box and giving the advantage, and maybe they give up a power play goal or whatever it is. It can rattle you. Can mess with your confidence. And I think Piotr's a great example of it. There was somebody on Twitter, I think it was Twitter. We were talking goalies, right, as you do on Twitter. And they said, I like Freddie, but he's never hurt. And Piotr, I think he's got potential, but he's been really rough the second half of the season. And I would, as you're probably doing right now, you're going oh, yeah, I get what he's saying. I get it, and I knew where he was coming from, but it wasn't Piotr's second half of the season. It was Pyotr Kochekov's last 7 games of the regular season. There really was a split right at that 7 goals allowed LA Kings game, which was his 7th to last start of the year. And when there's a moment like that changes everything dramatically from 2 goals allowed for a bunch of games in a row into 3, 4, 5 goals allowed for a bunch of games in a row, then it's confidence kind of sticks out there. So stay out of the box for a bunch of reasons, but I do have a stat here that can maybe emphasize how important it is. I don't know if you've heard. This was a very little known, little covered story that no one in the NHL became obsessed about. Sarcasm. Alexander Ovechkin became the all-time leading scorer this year.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it was covered in local papers. Definitely not over talked about. Do you know how long ago he became the all-time leader in power play goals? 3.5 seasons ago. He has that record by 52 and scored 14 this year and 11 last year and 14 the year before. So going back really 3 and 3/4 seasons back to when he set the record for most power play goals in a career. So he'll take advantage of it if you give him the extra space, right? He'll find his spot right there on the left side, and he'll make it very difficult on your goaltender. And you need to avoid that, right? Because the irony, or not even the irony, and this is no disrespect to Nico Hischier from the Devils, but the fourth goal allowed in Game 5 by Pyotr Kochetkov. I don't know, you can debate whether it was a goal he should have saved or not. But one of the things you hear often is like, well, if you give a goal scorer like Nico Hischier, a full head of steam towards the goal, like there's a good chance he's going to find a way to, like he's they're professional athletes too.
Yeah, let an elite goal scorer wide open coming down the slot from about 15 feet out. They're probably going to score.
And this is not disrespect to Nico Hischier, although it might sound like it. He's not Ovechkin on the power play. So go ahead and make sure you stay out of the box if you can, right? Check the things you can control, the P's and Q's. Make sure your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted to make your goalie's life easier. And then once they get into their rhythm, I think that's when you see kind of the top end of this team, right? Because we've seen them when they're doing the alternate thing earlier this year, go 8-10 games of really, really good goaltending. But you got to get there first, right? Rhythm. You got to start it at some point before you're riding the wave, and I think you can help out with that by doing your job in front of them. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll have more previewing. Although when we started planning this show, I was thinking this would be our last show before Game 1 of the second round. Now maybe we'll be doing all this preview over again on Monday. We're not sure.
We have no idea.
So we'll just keep talking Canes and Caps because it's fun.
That's fine.
Regardless of when it all hits.
By the way, if you want to get in on the conversation with us regarding Canes and Caps, go to our YouTube page. We have our, obviously, the live show. Jump in the live chat. We have a poll up. How many games will it take for the Canes to beat the Caps? Canes in 4, 5, 6, or 7. Vote on the poll, which right now, majority, 71% say Canes in 6, which would be great because they'll win that at Lenovo. But also, we posed the question, Tim. I know this is something you and I bring up. Which Canes player needs to be at his best for Carolina to beat Washington?
Got to pick one.
Got to pick one.
And are we eliminating?
Everyone's saying Svetch.
I was going to say, are we eliminating goalies from that?
I didn't put that in the question, but we can eliminate goalies, yes.
Because you know how that goes. I do think Svetch will be a very popular answer. And I think that showed in the first round what he does when he's on, because he was on in the first round. But we'll continue to have that conversation throughout the show, as I said, because it's fun, regardless of when they schedule the second round to get started. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up. Dennis, I have a Dean's List entry.
Oh.
That I think you're going to be proud of me for.
Go on.
Well, you're going to have to stick around to find out. It's coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup Check-In. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in the Triangle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The golf season is here. Time to upgrade your game. Head to Global Golf and explore Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned player, our expert staff will get you fit. Are you ready to trade in your current clubs? Global Golf makes makes it easy to trade in your previously played equipment and upgrade to your next set of clubs. Visit Global Golf today, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like, give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's, let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out. Because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-973-6622. That's 800-973-6622. Again, 800-973-6622.
Caniacs, raise up. It's time to get loud. The Carolina Hurricanes are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Join Lenovo in cheering on our hometown team. Let's light the lamp and bring the Stanley Cup to the Lenovo Center.
The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Rebound, Middlebrooks, right post. Spins, Lane into a double team. Throws it up into the foul. Brady push from Middlebrooks. 4:27 to play. Pack up 3.
There is some news coming out of the transfer portal that NC State fans are going to want to stick around to find out, but that's for after the Dean's List. Because right now we have to get to something I think Dennis is going to be pretty proud of me for having on the Dean's List. Should we just cut the suspense and do it first, Dennis?
Yeah.
There's a game going on tonight.
Yeah.
ACC tournament semifinals.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I know exactly
Duke
what you're talking
at
about
UNC lacrosse.
Yes.
There's a Duke UNC ACC semifinal going on tonight.
That's right.
Men's lacrosse.
Damn good matchup.
I mean, that right there is enough to be on the Dean's List. You work a triangle matchup with an ACC championship appearance on the line. I think it's Syracuse and Notre Dame on the other side. When it comes to lacrosse, those four make a lot of sense. That's going to be electric.
Yeah, too bad it's down in Charlotte. I would love to see the game in person, but it's down in Charlotte. It is what it is.
Well, can't be perfect.
No, it's okay. I've got it set to record so I can watch it later. Don't you worry.
I'm gonna send you texts updating it nonstop.
Do not.
Spoiling everything.
Do not.
No, but that is, I mean, obviously anytime a rivalry happens in a postseason tournament, it is awesome.
By the way, Joe Bresci, UNC men's coach, ACC coach of the year.
Congratulations, Joe. They're in I believe the 2-3 match.
Yes, they're the second seed. Notre Dame the 1 seed. All 4 of those schools should probably be in the NCAA tournament.
Yes, I would imagine. I mean, just on brand awareness. If you ask a casual fan that doesn't follow college lacrosse, who's the best? It's probably those 4, Hopkins, and UVA, maybe Maryland. As far as just the, I don't watch lacrosse, but I know that they're good. Those are kind of the main characters there, and that's speaking from a little bit of experience. I don't follow a ton of college lacrosse. But anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to them ACC semifinal tonight. Another Dean's List.
Okay.
And these might be a permanent. ACC basketball schedulers. Whoever's making the decision for the ACC basketball teams that we care about, they keep throwing out there just grand slams. Duke within the last couple of days here, has it's been revealed that they will be traveling to East Lansing to face Michigan State in December. Duke and Texas are finalizing an agreement to play in Charlotte. Speaking of Charlotte, Spectrum Center on November 4th. UNC, a couple of days ago, announced they're playing Ohio State in Atlanta. Like, I love it. And I was worried it was going to stop because the ACC seems to schedule more aggressive non-conference than darn near any other conference outside of a couple schools. They're like other conferences. All right, we have one big non-conference game, and it's like always an ACC team because the ACC teams are like, we want 7 giant non-conference games. And I was worried because the ACC keeps getting fewer and fewer teams into the NCAA tournament that they would go, all right, I guess we have to start playing the game and start scheduling just a bunch of smash non-conference games that will win by 100 to boost our net ranking.
The Coppin States of the world.
And instead they're doubling down and going, no, we'll keep scheduling massive power conference, non-conference games so we will be better battle-tested when the real games start in the postseason, and I just love that. There are more other ones named in the scheduling, but I just want to give whoever's scheduling with no fear, you get a Dean's List mention.
By the way, there is some strategery. We'll use that word out there. There is some strategy when it comes to scheduling these games as neutral site games as opposed to on campus. Because when it comes to NCAA net rankings, if for example, if North Carolina plays Ohio State at home, and if Ohio State is, let's say, ranked 40th in the net, it's a quad 2 game for Carolina because Carolina's playing that game at home, whereas for Ohio State, it's a quad 1 game. But if they play that game neutral site, which they are, as long as both teams are in the top 50, it's a quad 1 game for both. So there's a reason why these games are being played at neutral sites, which stinks because I want these games on college campuses. I really do. But the NCAA is incentivizing these games to be played on neutral site, not on home campuses.
And what it does is it insulates you just a little bit. I'll call it getting Indiana'd. Indiana football this year went on a long undefeated streak, right? And everybody was very excited about them until people started looking at their strength of schedule. And then it became, Indiana's not playing anybody. The Big Ten needs to work on their scheduling so this doesn't happen. They dodged Ohio State and Penn State and da-da-da. And they were getting a lot of heat for it. And I'm going, you do realize they played in conference both teams that were in the national championship the year before?
Yeah.
They didn't know that they were going to fall off and be terrible. So the same thing, Duke scheduling Texas and Charlotte, or UNC scheduling Ohio State and Atlanta. They may be scheduling them with listen, they're spending a lot of money. Their programs look good. We're anticipating this being a top 25 matchup. But if they fall off in a way we're not expecting and they're now ranked in the net 48, we don't want us to be punished and have us not get a quad 1 win. So instead, let's play it on a neutral court. Just insulate us a tiny bit to make sure we get what we're looking for here. It's again, the schedulers. Not only are they Dean's List members, but they deserve something else because it's a lot of work to figure out all the different ways your team is taken care of. I saw UCLA just canceled something. They were going to go to an in-season tournament, and they ended up getting replaced by St. John's. So now Arkansas and St. John's are going to play. It's going to be Cal and anyway. UCLA basically said, we're looking at the future of our program, and the first thing we're upending is how we schedule. And everybody's going to have a different way about it. I just like that the ACC powers that we care about are still out there big game hunting. Trophy fish. They don't want to catch 100 guppies. They want to catch a 2,000-pound marlin. Do you have a Dean's List member you want to throw into the mix?
I don't.
All right. Then we're going with Ja'Kai Moore. He is a transfer interior offensive lineman from South Carolina who has committed, according to Pete Nakos and On3, with UNC, the Tar Heels. This is a very modern football conversation. He played, including seasons lost to injury, 6 seasons at South Carolina. He has applied for his 7th year of eligibility, and it has already been granted.
Wow.
So he will do 6 years with the Gamecocks, 1 year at least with the Tar Heels. He has played in 44 games, made 28 starts over 6 seasons. He has made 13 starts at left tackle, 7 starts at left guard, 4 at right guard, and 4 at right tackle.
Dude can do everything.
He can do it all. I think UNC should play him at center just to complete the cycle.
Why not?
Get him out there everywhere. But also, the more you can do, right? And I guess if you're on campus for 6 years, hey, that year we had a really good left tackle, so I had to kick in. Then the next year we got a stud at left guard, so I went to the right side. Like he played with like 4 different depth charts during his time at South Carolina, so he's moved around a bit. But I just like the versatility, right? He's listed as an interior offensive lineman. He actually has more career starts at tackle than guard. So, at least it's a break glass in case of emergency. You can slide him outside if you need to.
Think about this. He's a college athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He played pre-COVID.
Yes.
He played pre-COVID, which is a wild thing to think about now. It gets COVID shut things down 5 years ago. He played before that.
I believe he is the 2019 recruiting class.
Yeah, he was first year was 2019.
Which, for reference, is like Kayvon Thibodeau, Rattler, Spencer Rattler, who he would have played with at South Carolina. That Kyle Hamilton, the starting safety for the Ravens. As we scroll through here quickly, Darnell Wright was part of the draft picks that Chicago used in the Bryce Young trade. Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver for the Jets. That's the recruiting class that he's in.
Trayvon Walker, the former number 1 overall pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaden Daniels. Goodness. Zach Charbonnet. Now we're just guys naming dudes. Wandale Robinson. Henry To'o. Puka Nakua. All right, that's enough.
Jacoby Dean, Nolan Smith.
Yeah, that's the class that he was a part of. And he's going to be a Tar Heel this upcoming year. He's still not done. Eligibility, I don't understand it.
Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver for the Jets.
It's one of my fantasy guys. Shout out Garrett. Big season coming. Lots of targets.
George Pickens. Anyway.
I was going to say, guys naming dudes. We could do the 2019 class has a lot of...
Yeah, Puka Nakua.
Pooks Nakooks.
Like you said.
Puka Nakua. The drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Carolina Panthers safety Damani Richardson.
Oh, he must have been a high-ranked recruit.
He was 56th.
Undrafted free agent, so there's at least some raw ability. I didn't know he was such a high recruit.
Bo Nix.
That actually tracks. Bo Nix was a rookie last year. You could be 1 year behind him. Bo Nix also did a bunch of years in college. All right, the drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dean's List dismissed. NC State basketball fans are on pins and needles at the moment. Do you know why? Because starting this morning, Crystal Ball Predictions, which is the 247 form of insiders making predictions on where recruits and transfers will commit, as well as on 3 predictions, they're kind of the 2 dueling online resources for transfer portal stuff nationwide. They have both started rolling in predictions for PJ Haggerty, Memphis guard, who hit the transfer portal, to go to NC State. Now, you may be saying, why, who, what? PJ Haggerty, including everyone committed. So it's not like just the best available in the portal. Everybody that entered into the portal in this recruiting cycle, he is, according to 247 Sports, the second best player, the best guard in the class. He was one of the leading scorers in the country, all levels, last year. And he hit the portal with an understanding that there is going to be a market for his services. And according to most, Field of 68, Corey Smith from Pac Pride, and national, local, whatever it is, NC State the clear front runner for PJ Haggerty right now, which is big. Big for 2 reasons. 1, good player, scorer. That's what you're looking for, right? That's an easy reason. Number 1 is he's a good basketball player. Reason number 2 is I have a tweet in front of me from Jeff Goodman of the Field of 68 back in about mid-April. Okay, so this is when portal was kind of cooking and everybody was really excited about it. Goodman tweeted, Memphis transfer PJ Haggerty's camp is asking for $4 million plus, and for him to spend majority of his time at point guard, sources involved in the recruitment told the Field of 68. Him playing point guard, that's a question for Will Wade, right? If he goes to NC State, I don't have the ability to project if his skill set is one that will fit in Will Wade's offensive system, and if that's what the role he wants him to play. The $4 million plus ask is what I think NC State fans should be as much excited about as anything. Now, if they end up paying $4 million plus, there's a world where State, in April said, "Hey man, if your price drops to X, give us a call." And other than that, go get your $4 million plus elsewhere. So maybe it's not the full $4 million or 4 point whatever. But if there's the number 2 overall recruit in the transfer portal is asking for $4 million plus, and your team is in the mix, you have a level of resources that you did not have in the past. I mean, we're talking about like the reports are that last year's NC State entire NIL budget was under $3 million. Now you're in the mix for a player who's asking for 4+, and the favorite for a player that, according to Jeff Goodman, was asking for 4+. So even if you chop it in half, right? Even if you're getting him off the dented can special, right? Something happened, his market cratered, and you're getting him for $2 million. That's significant based on where you were recently, which means some of the promises, some of the plans that were discussed in the hiring of Will Wade are already coming to fruition.
By the way, if you're wondering out there how good is PJ Haggerty, let's throw out some numbers for you.
I love stats.
21.7 points per game.
There you go.
5.8 rebounds a game. 3.7 assists per game. What's Memphis? Memphis, very good team, by the way. He was the American Athletic Conference Player of the Year, was a second-team All-American, also was the American Athletic Conference Tournament MVP while leading Memphis to a 29-6 record this past season. Yeah, he's good.
He was the third leading scorer across all of Division I men's basketball, behind only Eric Dixon, a senior for Villanova, and Trenton McLaughlin, a senior for Northern Arizona. He is the leading scoring underclassman in the entire country. So literally, stud, like very good player.
Good.
Like that's, there it is. The other side of it is how you get him here, and that to me is just as exciting, right? Because part of me, or I'm sure part of the fan base is, don't give anyone that much money. Part of me is, if you got it, flaunt it, right? If you can get a player because you have the cash that some of your competitors can't acquire, you will be better for it. There's no salary cap when it comes to everything that happens allegedly. All right, this is the guess and the hypothesis. Everything spent before July is not a condition to any revenue sharing cap or anything like that. So you can spend now, and it won't hurt you in the future as long as you have the cash. Now, if there's a concern, and I want to be clear here, we're incomplete, right? This is like. Actually, we're going to talk about a guy who's doing just this. When an underclassman declares for the NBA draft and goes through the whole process just to get feedback from the NBA, and then they go back to school, and they're like, "Hey, listen, I know I'm not complete. I know I'm not done. Can you just give me an idea of what I need to work on?" NC State's NCAA or the transfer portal assembling the roster is not done. Okay. And they'd probably say, I know we're not complete. But if I'm looking at it and you're asking me, hey, what do you need to work on? If you get Haggerty, first of all, great. But Haggerty, guard, right? Looking at I want to make sure I get his height absolutely correct. But he's not this is not a versatile big situation. He's not 6'10", but with guard skills. He is listed at, as my computer loads, 6'3". Okay, so 6'3". They've brought in commitments from a whole bunch of transfers. Terrence Arsenault, 6'6". Jerry Dang, 6'9". Colt Langdon, 6'7". Trey Holloman, the point guard from Michigan State, 6'2". Kadir Copeland and Alan Breed, both from McNeese State, 6'6", 6'3". Matthew Abel comes out of the high school recruiting, 5-star. He is listed at 6'5". Zamika Wilkins, another high school player, 6'8". What did you notice there? The tallest player, and they are returning Paul McNeil, who's another wing, 5. Nobody taller than 6'9". Nobody like on the roster right now is taller than 6'9". There's actually only 2 people on their official roster website, which is Paul McNeil and senior walk-on Jordan Snell. Size. You need big guys. You've done a great job wing defense. You've done a great job, I think, especially if you get Haggerty, at the point guard position, versatile skill set, leadership, dynamic ability. Done a great job on all of it. I don't love that your tallest guy is 6'9". Do you know why? Because we just saw UNC try this. We just saw them. And they actually had some guys that were like 6'10", 6'11". They just weren't, traditional posts. And it was tough. There were games where they were just outmatched down low. I hate doing this because, we just saw McNeese State upset a Power 5 conference in the opener of their NCAA tournament. But this is the ACC. You need to have some dudes down low. You do. So Haggerty comes in. I almost want to go like, good. You're good on the perimeter. Good. I want 6'10" or above for like 2 or 3 guys. They don't have to score 12. It'd be nice, but rebound, shot blocking, fouls, like you just need dudes. Other than that, Matthew Abel, huge get, and Haggerty would be a huge get, and everybody else fills a role really, really well. I like what they're doing, aside from the fact that I know how I'd attack them if they played tomorrow. I would send it into my post over and over and over again.
Yeah, if you're Carolina, looking pretty good against them right now. We got Visar.
Carolina overcorrected to having a massive lineup with Jaron Stevenson.
That's right, 6'11".
Caleb Wilson, who's a 5-star power forward coming out of the high school ranks. They've got a lot bigger real quickly, and supposedly Van Allen Lubin will go out of the portal back to UNC. I still don't fully understand that situation, but people keep telling me he plans to go back to UNC. That's a lot of size that they would just bully you down low. Unless, again, it's just incomplete, right? You're going back to school to work on this. Find some big guys. Speaking of going back to school, likely to work on what the NBA tells you to work on, a couple of days ago, Isaiah Evans of Duke put his name into the NBA draft, right, before the final deadline to put your name in the draft. And you are listening to The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. And if you're like, it was I don't want to say intentional, but it wasn't uncalculated that we haven't talked about it until now, right? It's been on the list of things to talk about. We've brought it up in pre-show meetings, but it keeps getting bumped for Canes talk or for draft talk or for some other piece of portal news or whatever it is, because I think it is exactly what we just discussed. Isaiah Evans is going back to Duke, but he put his name into the NBA draft in order to go through the process, right? In order to, be able to talk with teams, perhaps get involved in workouts and learn what the NBA wants from him, and then come back to Duke where he can work on it. It happens more often than you think. Or think about it like just in our terms, right? Like quote unquote normal people terms. If you get an offer to interview for a job, I've had people say you should always take the interview. You don't have to take the job if they offer it, but you always take the interview because then you get better at interviewing. And then when your dream job pops up, you're like, yeah, I'm better for it. Or when the promotion at work, the company that you work for now pops up and they want to interview you for the big promotion, you're better for it because you have a little bit more experience. So now Isaiah Evans, I believe, is putting his name, this is my guess, my best educated guess, is putting his name into the NBA draft to go get a dress rehearsal run-up to the NBA draft. So after he's, all ACC next year and leads the country in three-point makes per game, which is, what I'm sure he's going to try to do, then he can go into the NBA draft process next year having done it already. Other news out of Duke, they did hire a new assistant coach. They replaced Jay Lucas. Gentleman by the name of Evan Brads. Comes from the NBA. Two things real quickly here before the top of the hour. One, his history, as I said, comes from the NBA. He's been a G League assistant coach, a Boston Celtics video analyst, a Boston Celtics player enhancement coach, and most recently for 2 or 3 years, he's been an assistant coach of player development for Utah Jazz. That's like a very NBA. He played at Belmont, a decade ago. The way college basketball is going, I think it's going less towards recruiting, which means they understand a lot of these players are just going. It's like free agency. They're just going to wherever the money is best.
At least traditional recruiting.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So when your assistant coaches used to have to be the most connected people, right? Oh, you wanted to have one guy that's been a college assistant for 35 years and he knows every high school coach east of the Mississippi River and most of them west of the Mississippi River. And he knows every AAU coach and every shoe exec, right? Just somebody that knew everybody. Nowadays, I think what you want is an analytics-based thinker, a great talent evaluator who can then tell you where to spend your money, rather than going out there and having to schmooze the parents of the next 5-star into trusting you with their child. So this screams to me. I mean, he was the Boston Celtics video analyst for multiple seasons. That means interacting with Brad Stevens a lot on player development and player evaluation. He's been with the Utah Jazz. They've done a lot of the forefront as far as integrating youth and analytics into their NBA structure. I don't even know what you call it, front office.
Which has Kyle Filipowski, former Duke player, by the way.
What do you think? How funny would it be if their interview was like, now you drafted Kyle. Why? We know him very well, so we want to see how well you got to know him in the draft process. Pros and cons, right? Strengths and weaknesses. Hit us. And if you get them right, you're in. So that's one thing. And then the other part, real quickly, I like, and this is just kind of a gut feeling, I like that Jon Scheyer continues to go outside of the Duke brotherhood for his assistants, right? Everybody, with Coach K, you knew, right? If there was an assistant coaching opening, there was probably like a heady coach on the floor style player from like 4 years prior that played 3 years overseas, and he was ready to get into coaching, and he was just going to slide into that assistant coaching role, right? And it happened time and time again over the last decades. Recently with somebody like Emile Jefferson, and they had, it just happened over and over and over again. I think Jon Scheyer putting kind of his fingerprints on Coach K's, the program he left him, without needing to go get guys that played for Coach K is good. Eventually, I think Jon Scheyer will start bringing on his former players, but there'll be guys that played for him. And I think that's a good move, right? Just make the program a little bit your own. You don't have to knock it down. You don't have to, remodel everything, but put your own wallpaper up, right? Your own little – move the couch to the other side of the room. Feels like a new room. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have Panther Talk. Oh, you're darn right. I almost forgot. Thank goodness the Sounders woke me up. We need to take callers for the 10K playoff payout. It's back. The 99.9 The Fan 10K playoff payout. We are qualifying new contestants every afternoon as far as yesterday, today, and one more on Monday. So what I need you to do right now, if you want to try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000, you need to be qualified as a contestant. Caller number 9 right now will have a chance to officially qualify. The number to call is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Be prepared to answer one simple question. Just a very simple question. If you get it right, you will be qualified. And if you don't get through, if you're not caller number 9 right now, be sure to listen the rest of this hour. We'll do this one more time today and listen on Monday. And most importantly, remember that with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. We qualify a contestant for the 10K playoff payout next. Don't go anywhere.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm like legitimately emotional about this. To watch the handshake line at the end and to see Pesci and Slavin and Stahl and Aho and Brindamore. I wanted to just have a camera on Brett Pesci. I thought it was interesting that there was a lot of love for Dougie Hamilton. Even Eric Haula. Aho and Haula were talking like they were old buddies.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Marcy Bailey here to remind you that Mother's Day is right around the corner. Show your love and appreciation for Mom with something sparkly wrapped up in a Bailey box. We've curated an amazing Mother's Day gift guide with beautiful jewelry for every style and budget. Shoppable at BaileyBox.com. We also have all the top designers like David Yurman, Lagos, and Hippolyta, along with our highly sought-after Bailey's collections. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the coast.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
Chick-fil-A wants to say thanks for all the little things our teachers and educators do each day to make a big difference in our community. That's why on May 6th, local Chick-fil-A restaurants are celebrating Teacher Appreciation Day and giving away a free entree, chicken minis from open until 10:30 a.m., and a free original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich from 10:30 a.m. until close with a valid ID. Valid at participating Greater Triangle Area Chick-fil-A restaurants. Offer subject to availability while supplies last. Visit your local Greater Triangle Area Chick-fil-A restaurant for further details.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Partly cloudy skies, and it's pretty hot out there this afternoon with a high of 89. Some evening thunderstorms will pop up, but they'll be isolated. We'll see an overnight low of 65. Tomorrow, a quick sprinkle in the morning, but much of Saturday stays dry. We have the chance of some evening thunderstorms with a high of 88 degrees. We do have a level 1 risk for severe storms, and it looks like almost a washout for Sunday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 564 points to 41,317. Market update brought to you by the Body Armor State Games. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to qualify, hopefully, Ryan and Mebin for our 10K playoff payout as our next official contestant. Ryan and Mebin, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The only thing you have to do to officially become a contestant and get the invite to our 10K playoff payout, where you can try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000, is answer this question correctly. Are you ready?
All right.
I'm not trying to trick you. Just answer it correctly, and you got it. What is the name of the trophy that the champion of the NHL, the championship team, receives?
Lord Stanley's Cup.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go. Ryan, you are officially a contestant. Congratulations. You will have your chance at the big 10K playoff payout. Please stay on the line. Dennis will grab the info to make sure you are included.
Thank you so much. Go Canes.
Go Canes. I don't have any say over anything that goes on in the 10K playoff payout, but, nice old Go Canes would have, if I had any say, swing in your direction. By the way, don't forget, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
We'll have another shot in about 30 minutes.
Almost exactly.
Yeah.
About 4:33, as planned. We will have another contestant qualified, or another opportunity for a contestant to qualify. So don't miss it. Do not miss it. Stick around for it. And then the last chance will be on Monday, right about this time. So at about 4 o'clock on Monday will be the last chance for this edition of the 10K playoff payout. As always, keep it tuned right here, 99.9 The Fan. Now let's fire up a little football at 4, shall we?
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
Hunter Renfrow is a Panther. Hunter Renfrow. Yes, that Hunter Renfrow. Clemson Hunter Renfrow. Raiders Hunter Renfrow. You may be saying, yeah, what happened to him? He was out of the league last year, and actually before the draft, I believe, or right after the draft. Either way, around the draft, Hunter Renfrow signed to join the Carolina Panthers on a 1-year contract, which immediately brings up the question. Is it just a thing because it's a name we know, right? Or is it a guy that might actually help the Panthers? Because we see vets, right, past their prime, sign a 1-year deal, and our brains immediately imagine the highlights we remember, and then it turns out they're not that player anymore, and sometimes they don't even make it to the opening day roster. And I started thinking, like, is Hunter Renfrow going to help the team, and are they planning for him to help the team, or is this just one last gasp from a vet from years past, and it's not going to work out? Well, I can tell you this. He's 29 years old. So if you're still in your 20s, you are definitely not at the point, where you're thinking like, oh, this is Jerry Rice on the Broncos. And you may be saying, when was he on the Broncos? Exactly. He was there for like a week of practice. This is not that. But I'm also not sure because then you say he didn't play last year, and I go, well, the NFL isn't dumb. If nobody had you on their roster last year, there had to be a reason. Well, he might actually have a explained reason. Renfrow revealed recently, after the news of his contract was released, that he was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis last year, leading to severe weight loss, fatigue, and 7 straight days of 103-degree fevers, which obviously becomes a key reason he sat out all last year. He was down, he revealed, to 150 pounds. That was his body weight, 150 pounds. But now he's back up to 187, and he's aiming to play around 185. So in a weird way, that makes me more confident in Hunter Renfrow this year. You wish he didn't have to deal with it, but I think it's kind of good news because it explains why he was out of the league, and it's hopefully something you can solve or solve might not be the right word. You can learn to manage and play with, and that's like, okay, all right. So he was out of the league, but it wasn't because he lost a step. It wasn't because he forgot how to catch. It wasn't because he got the yips. It was because he was dealing with a real reason, right? I make that distinction a lot. What's an excuse? What's a reason? That's a reason right there, right? That's not an excuse. That's you lost 35 pounds. Yeah, I can see why you might be out of the NFL. Renfrow talked about the seriousness of it, and actually indicated that maybe his last couple years with the Raiders, some of these effects were already starting to be felt.
I started feeling a little weird at the end of that 2021 season, and just started feeling nothing crazy. I think we made the playoffs last year. We lost to Cincinnati, and then but I remember going and being at the Pro Bowl and just starting to feel like I took a month off, but I'm like kind of tired, and I didn't think anything of it. I thought I just wasn't working out as much, and then we went through that summer, I signed a second contract, and Coach McDaniels and those guys came in. And then that fall camp, I just felt as bad as I could. And so really over the last 2 years of my, Raider career, I was just trying to piece it together, just trying to make it and just trying to do as much as I could. But also, I just wasn't feeling great. I didn't know a lot about ulcerative colitis. I was just trying to push through it and just try to be my best, even though my best wasn't good enough at the time.
So he was the impacts might be going back to when he was a Pro Bowler, which, by the way, I just want to make this point about Hunter Renfrow. You can dislike Clemson, right? Rivalries and all that thing. Objectively, he is one of the coolest stories in sports. His first workout at Clemson, he's there as a player, right? He was a walk-on wide receiver. So he shows up, and one of his new teammates at Clemson asked him for water. Not on some, making a joke thing, just genuinely politely asked him for water the way you would ask one of the trainers or water boys or water girls at a practice. That was his teammate. Because he was so small and kind of unassuming. A couple years later, he caught the game-winning touchdown pass in the national championship game. To go from my own teammate thought I was a water boy to I caught the touchdown that won the national championship. I think it was versus Alabama, right? It was that Deshaun Watson, Clemson, Alabama, like a classic national championship game that he won. And then he went on to have 103 catches, over 1,000 yards in an NFL season and made the Pro Bowl. That's an awesome story. Now he gets to try to add to it, right? I'll tell you what, he's doing a number towards getting a Disney movie made about him in about 10 years, right? Because, in the first act, the big triumph was the Pro Bowl season, but then the adversity strikes again, and he's diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and he has the 103-degree fever for 7 straight days, and he's down to 150 pounds. Could be a role that somebody wins an Oscar for, right? Anytime you're fluctuating in weight, it's, I gave up a lot of I was eating 1 pea a day, says the actor, as they lost 37 pounds for the role to look frail for that middle section. Now the triumphant return. Hometown NFL team. He's from South Carolina, playing for the Carolina Panthers. Gets to go back out there. Another Pro Bowl season and credits. I don't know how big his role is going to be. What I do know is if they need somebody to get routed up on a what we used to call a jig route or a whip or any of these little crossers / fake crossers, act like I'm running a crosser, snap it back out on an out route. If you need somebody to run that, the guy knows what he's doing. He will route you up, which if he has 40 catches, great. If he's on the field in 4 wide receiver sets, fantastic. If all he's doing is getting Xavier Legette and Tedoroa McMillan to know what it looks like to be a professional wide receiver, along with Adam Thielen and a few others, David Moore, but he brings a different skill set. If he has them routing up, that's pretty darn impressive, right? Because how tall is what's Hunter Renfrow's?
5'10", 5'9".
And do we have a 40 time for him?
I don't think so.
I don't think he was even invited to the combine. 4.59 at the 2019 combine.
Well, there you go.
So if Renfrow is going, this is what got me open at 5'10", 185, running a 4.59. Xavier Legette, it should get you 10 yards open because you're 6'2", 215 pounds, and run a 4.39. There's levels to this. So I think he is somebody that you want to keep around. I think he is somebody that you want to not only use as a player, but use as a resource because of everything he's gone through and everything he's proven to be pretty darn successful at.
And it's a no-risk signing.
Yeah, one year, I'm sure there's no guaranteed.
Yeah.
Not much more than a couple $1,000. And if it works out, you got a Pro Bowl receiver on the cheap.
Yeah.
He literally played in a Pro Bowl, not that long ago, within the last 5 years, which doesn't happen that often. And he's 29. It's not like he's 37. That's kind of Adam Thielen's role. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. He's not quite 37, but he's getting there. We have the Cup Check-In presented by Carolina Ale House coming up, where our very own Adam Gold checks in with Trip Tracy, Canes analyst, also 99.9 The Fan. It's coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup Playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Giants!
Let's go, Canes!
Kochetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Carolina Baseball hosts the NC State Wolfpack next weekend at Boshamer Stadium for a 3-game matchup. The series begins Thursday, May 8th at 6 p.m. The first 750 fans in attendance will get the last trading card pack of the 2025 Diamond Heels. The second game of the series is May 9th at 6 with fireworks and Michael Busch bobblehead night. The series finale and senior day is Sunday, May 11th at 1 p.m. Tickets for this rivalry series are going fast, so get your tickets today at GoHeels.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay is my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
He'll leave it here for Orlov. Orlov wants to make a move. Up top. Svechnikov, he scores! That's the magic! We're tied at
3! The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Andrei Svechnikov definitely in the running for a question we're going to ask later. What one player is most important to play well? They need to have a great series in order for the Canes to reach their potential in round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Washington Capitals. Andrei Svechnikov, definitely a popular answer for that one, for reasons like you just heard, right? That goal was that game, really. Game 5 was just good Svech up and down the ice, multiple different ways, like physicality, goal scoring, aggressiveness, kind of instigation without getting out of control when it comes to the mind games. It was just a good Svech day. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Cup check-in coming your way. Adam Gold and Trip Tracy. Cup check-ins presented by Carolina Ale House as the Canes will be heading on the road. Know that you can go to Carolina Ale House in Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, including the first two of the next series. It's all presented by Carolina Ale House. Here's Adam Gold and Trip Tracy.
Well, you and I have talked all year long about how Andrei Svechnikov is a difference maker, that he takes Carolina from here to here, and the here being, higher than the first here. And I've talked about the fact that the least impressive part of his Game 4 hat trick were the goals. It was all of the other things that lead up to the goals. And I thought he only had one goal in Game 5. I argue he was better in Game 5 than he was in Game 4. So it isn't always about the goals for him. The goals are great, and we need them. But he played like the difference maker we know he could be.
There's a bunch of things that jump to me here. Number one, you and I, before Game 1 against the Devils, we spoke about his best finish of the season in a meaningless Game 82, that power play goal in Ottawa. And I don't know if Andre would say that was game-changing, and even if it was, whether or not he'd admit it. But, we speculated it would be to be determined if in a meaningless Game 82, if that played a role in his ability to shoot the puck. You look at his production in the first round, I believe it did. Game 5, even when the Hurricanes were not able to match New Jersey's desperation in the first period, and they were in a 3-0 hole, by a country mile, I thought Andrei Svechnikov was the best player.
Yep.
And that just continued throughout the night. You accurately mentioned that he did a bunch of things, that every time he was on the ice, he was a truly impactful, game-changing power forward. So I do agree with your overall assessment that his Game 5 was even better than his fourth game. Now that sets the stage for, and there are many, but an unbelievably intriguing storyline because, when Svechnikov went down in Game 3 of that 2019 series and that bout with Ovechkin, I personally believe, and I always have, that was the turning point of that series that the Hurricanes eventually won. And Alex Ovechkin, when you look at him historically, he is Mufasa in Russia. And if there's anybody threatening his reign, he gets his juices flowing that much more. Now Andrei Svechnikov is a seasoned pro. He's coming in with a terrific wave of playoff confidence. That individual matchup of Svechnikov versus Ovechkin down the road, depending on health and adjustments that you make, if a guy like Alexander Nikishin is able to enter at any point during the series, I will be equally intrigued by that too, because I've seen Ovechkin going back to Svechnikov's rookie year. When there is a really potentially filled young Russian, he wants to be Mufasa. Svechnikov is coming in with all the right strengths and assets, and if circumstance ever creates a situation where Nikishin draws in what will be a very physical series, these are just things to think about.
Yeah.
And we're just scratching the surface about, all the different storylines that are going to make this series unbelievably intriguing.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was another Cup check-in with Adam Gold, presented by Carolina Ale House. I can't resist it, right? When somebody throws a movie reference out there, I have to take it to the next step. So if Alexander Ovechkin is Mufasa, as Trip Tracy said a few times in that answer, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the animated classic from 1994, The Lion King, who ends up being the one that ends Mufasa?
Oh, who's the Scar in this?
Wouldn't it be his brother? Right, because Scar was Mufasa's brother.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be like a longtime, perhaps best friend?
So Pyotr.
Dmitry Orlov.
Yeah.
Dmitry Orlov, right? So for a long time, maybe allies, and then switches over to the opposing team, right? This is all metaphorical. We're talking about the hockey life, but I'm just saying, could Orlov then be, and then in that, I guess, in a weird way, wouldn't somebody like Nikishin be Simba. Right? Just kind of coming right as the scar. Anyway, I could take this 100 different ways. And you know the little the annoying toucan, little Zazu? Seth Jarvis. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. Hyenas. We could do the whole. We're not going to. We could do the whole movie. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Someone's Rafiki. I'm just saying. I don't know who.
Stahl?
Could be Stahl. I was going to think maybe Rod. But there's we can hash that out off air. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's go ahead and jump into the ladder challenge. All right. Ladder challenge coming your way. I won last night by the hair on my chinny chin chin.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic, 40 or more points plus rebounds plus assists. He had exactly 40. 25, 8, and 7.
There
Just
you go.
Sneaking in there. I continue to be lost in the ladder challenge. That was a minus 800 bet that I sweated out. There's no reason to be doing that. How did it go for you?
Let's see. I had Kings and Edmonton Oilers over 3.5 goals. I combined for 10.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe you had the Stars Avs game and it was the over, and I checked this. It was like in the second period alone they scored 100 goals.
I
like,
know.
I was like, all right, he's doing fine. But you had the other one that scored a bunch. This is there's so much going on there. Let's do the ladder challenge quickly. What are you picking?
So I'm up to $11.14. Give me tomorrow Stars and Avs over 3.5 goals. That's a minus 575. I'll take that. Put me up at 1307.
I am so lost in the ladder challenge. I'm going to something completely. I don't think any of us have done yet in the ladder challenge.
What's that?
Yankees over 2.5 runs scored versus the Rays tonight.
Okay.
Got to try something new.
But you won last night.
But I thought he was going to have 57 points plus rebounds plus assists. He had 40. I had to sweat out a minus 800 bet. So I'm going Yankees over 2.5 runs scored on the pure basis of it seems like I'm seeing a lot of Aaron Judge highlights recently. And I don't know if everyone's moved on from it, but they still use torpedo bats, right? So 2.5 runs, more than that for the Yankees. That's minus 500. It'll take my 1125 to 1350. We do have Katie Florio, Washington Capitals Radio Network. My conversation with her from earlier today ready to play for you. But before we do that, what did I yell and scream about for the NC State men's basketball transfer portal? I wanted somebody tall, right? We were anticipating perhaps a PJ Haggerty commitment, all these other things. Corey Smith, just moments ago, NC State has landed a commitment from Congolese center Paul Mbaya. 6'11", 231 pounds. He's playing for Aspires, which I'm guessing is some kind of maybe Congolese team, because that's what he's labeled as. But he's scoring 15 and 11, and 15 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks per game for Aspires. Coming from the NBA Academy Africa, he is 6'11". So I screamed and yelled about they need 6'11" or taller, and then like 20 minutes later, they're like, "Oh, did we not announce that one yet? Go tell them about the tall guy." And Corey Smith came through with it. So a little bit of update there. We'll have more reaction to that as the show goes on. But right now, I did catch up earlier today with Katie Florio of the Washington Capitals Radio Network, trying to get some of the opposing viewpoint on the Canes Caps second round series. Here's that conversation. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Joining us now, Heister Automotive Group Hotline. It is Katie Florio, Washington Capitals Radio Network. Follow her on x.com at Katie Florio. She's given us the insight into the opponent as the Canes get ready for their second-round Stanley Cup playoff series against the Washington Capitals. Katie, first of all, thank you very much for the time. And I do want to talk Caps, but I'm also always fascinated by kind of looking at the team that we know too closely from the other perspective. So what's like the word on the street of how the Caps beat the Canes? What's the keys there in reverse order from your perspective?
Yeah, I think, well, first off, thanks for having me on again. I think that this is certainly going to be an exciting, hard-fought series. I think not that Montreal wasn't a challenge at times for the Capitals, but I think that this certainly the notches go up when it comes on the Capitals getting past a very tough Carolina Hurricanes team. As you know, I don't have to tell you about
your team. Obviously, I think a team that was really good in transition and kind of limited the Capitals this year from being able to get up the ice quickly. But I think looking at the Caps series with Montreal, I would say special teams is a huge part of that. And the way the Capitals were able to bounce back and why they did win Game 5 was because special teams finally came through. It was a little bit of a struggle while we were in Montreal, both the PK and the power play, but the Capitals able to score 2 power play goals here in this last Game 5 with Montreal. I think that's going to be key. And then I'm really excited to see this goaltending matchup as well. If Freddie Anderson is in fact back in, ready to go. I know he was day-to-day last time I checked on that, but you have Anderson against Thompson is obviously 2 of the top guys in the league. And so just from a hockey fan perspective, that's a matchup that I think everybody is definitely excited to see. So yeah, it's going to be, we saw how these 2 teams were in the regular season, especially that game in Raleigh. I don't think we'll see maybe as much chaos in the playoffs as we did, but obviously chippiness, physicality, both teams are able to bring that. So it's going to be a good one.
You touched on a whole bunch of things that I'm going to pry in on further here, starting with we'll just go to the goaltenders, right? You called it Anderson against Thompson. Kind of similar situations with the goalies during the regular season having maybe more of a rotation. Is there an expectation that Lindgren gets his shot in net at some point, maybe, especially with Thompson being a little banged up?
I would think maybe eventually, and to be honest, as you probably know, obviously with the media and the press conferences, everything gets more tight-lipped as playoffs, during playoffs. So every day, in the regular season, Carberry could confirm that Thompson or Lindgren would be the starter that night. But now since playoffs, it's, you guys will find out at warm-ups. But the way Logan has played through the first round, especially that little bang-up, whatever that was, I don't see how you couldn't continue to ride him. But like you mentioned, if something else happens to him, something tweaks, or even dependent on the outcome of the first game or so, I think Charlie is obviously more than capable of being a winning goaltender in playoffs as well. But I think right now it's a little more under the mentality of if it's not broken, don't fix it. And with the way Logan has stepped up in this round 1 and just truly, as Carberry calls him, is a gamer. He's a fiery, competitive guy. And when the lights are the brightest is when he shines the most. I think it makes sense to continue to ride him right now.
Katie Florio, Washington Capitals Radio Network, helping us preview the Canes matchup with the Washington Capitals in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The PK, what was up with the penalty kill in the first round? You brought up special teams in general, but looking at the statistics, and they did get the 2 power play goals, so maybe that skews it. The penalty kill is what stood out to me. Was there something noticeably different or off rhythm about how it was against Montreal?
I don't know if there was something necessarily wrong with it. I mean, right off the bat, at that point in the time, you obviously didn't have Protas back yet, and it was a huge blow to this team to lose Martin Faravari in the 81st game of the season. If he finished out game 82 in Pittsburgh, he would have played all 82 games, and it would have been his 300th NHL game. And losing him for the rest of the season, the rest of playoffs, was a huge blow to this team because he's a guy, a name you probably don't hear as much, and truly kind of an unsung hero type player. But as someone that covers this team day in and day out, he is one of your best penalty killers. His physicality, the way he sacrifices his body. And so I think losing those 2 guys first and foremost obviously had a little bit to do with it. Now you have Protas back, which is good. Obviously kind of started him a little slow on that 4th line, sort of working up his minutes in that game 5, and we'll expect him to play a lot more, maybe even back on that top line. I'm not sure yet, but I think, that was the biggest challenge the Capitals were facing. But all in all, I mean, overall, it was a penalty kill that was pretty high up the ranks in the league for the most of the year. So definitely consistency, not going to be perfect. And it looked like even within a game span, they were able to correct some things and kind of get it back on track.
One of the this is one of those stats that like doesn't seem true, but I guess it is. It was passed along to me today that the Caps just won their first postseason series since they hoisted the cup, a handful of years ago. How are they the same and different from then, right? As the team that got Ovechkin, that whole monkey off his back and everything else, to then ride the wave of the last half decade. Is there still like the beat of that team, or is this completely new?
I think it's more of a new team. I know, crazy, 7 years since they've advanced out of a first round in a decade. It had been 10 years since they clinched a series on home ice. And obviously you still have some of those core guys like Ovechkin and Carlson. But I think the success that the Capitals have had all season is based on, it's the same thing I talked about when I joined you guys in the fall and winter, is the new faces and the acquisitions they went out and got, and how those guys in just their first year as a Capital have been able to mesh so well and fill the spots that were needed. Then crazy enough, though, in a trade, you get Lars Eller, back this year as well. He was part of that Stanley Cup team. So I think having a mix of guys who have been through it, who have gone all the way, who have won the cup, plus bringing in some of these new guys. And then you have guys like, Logan Thompson, new to the Capitals, but he won a cup with Vegas. And then you have guys like Chychrun who are like, this is awesome. I've never gotten a taste of, this kind of playoff. So you have a little bit of everything. And I think it's a good balance of guys who have been there and done that and know how it works, paired with younger up-and-coming guys who are experiencing this for the first time but are able to go out there and play. And I think another thing to note, granted it's not the NHL and the Stanley Cup playoffs, but the Hershey Bears are trying for a three-peat of the championship, and so in the Calder Cup in the AHL. So you have guys like Alexei Protas and Connor McMichael, who had an outstanding first-round series, one of the best forwards for the Capitals, who not in the NHL, but they have gone on that long postseason run before in the AHL. So I think these guys have all gotten a little taste of it in different ways, and together that works as one unit.
Katie Florio, Washington Capitals Radio Network. Katie, before we let you go, this is a game we play going into Big Canes moment. It's not really a game, but it's like a thought exercise where we exclude goalies because that's the easy answer. If you had to pick one player on the Caps to have a great series and you think that would propel them to their ceiling, right? That like kind of if they play great, the team plays great. What one player would you be choosing? Again, excluding Thompson because we all know what a hot goaltender can do.
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I think an obvious answer could be your two consistencies, Alex Ovechkin and Dylan Strome. Strome led the series with 9 points, but again, I think I'm going to go with who I just mentioned, Connor McMichael. I think he is one of those up-and-comers. He had a very hot start to the season, ended up being a career year, and not that he didn't finish strongly, but all of a sudden from his first shift in game one against Montreal, it was like, whoa, this is the Connor that we saw at the beginning of the year. His skill, his speed, even when he's not scoring, he was still getting shots off, just kind of a shoot-first mentality, aggressive attack, and he has a lot of skill that we as Capitals reporters see on the daily basis. I don't think he's at that level of a Strome or Ovechkin yet, where the rest of the hockey world maybe notices his name as much, but I think give him a little more time, and they certainly will.
Katie, this is normally where I take our guests and I say good luck, but we're kind of on opposite sides this time, so I'll hold that back. But I am very appreciative for your time. Thank you for jumping on and giving us kind of some insight into your side.
Fair enough, no problem.
Once again, Katie Florio joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, Washington Capitals Radio Network. See that? I got out of saying good luck there. Like, good luck in your career, but not in this series. We're on opposite sides. Speaking of the hockey going on now, if one of you wants to take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000, I can tell you that won't happen unless you qualify to be part of our 10K playoff payout. 99.9 The Fan, every afternoon over yesterday, today, and tomorrow are qualifying contestants for the 10K playoff payout. If you want to try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at the $10,000, You need to call in now. 919-860-5326. Caller number 9 will have an opportunity to qualify. Caller number 9 will have an opportunity to qualify. 919-860-5326. Call in now. And if you don't get through today, there's one more chance. Monday at 4. Monday, within a couple minutes, give or take, of 4 o'clock, we will qualify the 5th and final contestant for this edition of the 10K Playoff Payout. So call in right now, as I said, 919-860-5326. Hopefully you get through this time, but if you don't, there's one more chance on Monday. And finally, remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. That is your Carolina Ford dealer. Dennis is taking the calls, so keep calling in. You still got a chance. You still got a chance. It is a really fun deal. I really enjoy the 10K Playoff Payout, and it makes me happy to see some of you have the opportunity to, $10,000. That's I don't know if it's life-changing for some of you, would be for a lot of us, and it is at least got to make your year if you just get 10K from the 10K Playoff Payout. So, get the calls in is what I'm saying. And be prepared to answer a very simple question. It is the only requirement we have once you are picked as caller number 9 is that you answer a very simple question correctly. And if you do get it right, then you are an official contestant. And we do try to, keep it simple for you. It's sometimes you probably think I'm tricking you, but I'm not. So do that. And also, while Dennis continues to get the caller on the line, I want to make sure everybody knows, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I get my social medias confused, right? It's follow on Twitter and Instagram and all of that, which we want you to do. 99.9 The Fan, search for it. But on YouTube, we want you to subscribe. 99.9 The Fan, search for it. We have live streams. We have podcasts. We have interviews, show segments, all of it right there on 99.9 The Fan. Search for it on YouTube. And you can be watching us right now. All right, Dennis, are we ready to roll? Who do we have?
We have Christy in Morrisville.
Christy in Morrisville, welcome to the show. Are you ready to answer a question?
I'm ready.
All right, the question is simple. Can you name one of the team colors for the Carolina Hurricanes?
Red.
Beautiful. Thank you for not being sometimes people go they try to paint the fringes. You went right down the middle with it.
Right
Red.
down the middle.
I like it. You are a 10K Playoff Payout contestant. You will have your chance at playoff tickets, at the 10K, and everything else. So stay on the line. I know you were just talking with Dennis, but
awesome.
He'll have to grab some info. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to meeting you, Christy. And look forward to meeting all of our contestants. There's Ryan from earlier. We qualified 2 yesterday, and we have one more slot. One more opportunity, and it'll be Monday at 4 o'clock. So set your alarms now. You do not want to forget. Ask your smart speaker. However, email the person that's better at keeping track of schedules than you are that you use as your personal assistant. Whatever you need to do, make sure you're listening to 99.9 The Fan Monday at 4 for the final opportunity to be a participant in the 10K Playoff Payout. We have one of our games coming up next. We're going to play a little Real Bold Predictions. Authenticated, certified, locked in, bold predictions are coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge.
Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream, available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum, and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now. Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Shout out to Ryan and Mebane and Christy in Morrisville. Those two qualified for the 10K playoff payout. They'll be in the contestant pool. One more opportunity Monday at 4 o'clock here on The Drive for you to qualify for the 10K playoff payout. But Ryan and Christy, they're locked in. And we're locked in for a little bit of a game we call Real Bold Predictions. The only place in sports media that has a guaranteed, certified, authenticated bold prediction segment. Everybody else, they just say, hey, we're doing bold predictions. And then whatever they say, we pretend is bold. But not here. We make sure they're bold enough. So what's going to happen is I'm going to make a prediction that I feel is a bold prediction. You will either hear the bold enough bell or the not bold enough buzzer. If I hear the buzzer, I have to make it bolder on the spot until I hear the bell. It makes, it prevents me from saying I bold prediction. I think that this Canes Cap series will go at least 4 games. Right? It's of course. Yeah, exactly. So here's how it's going to go. We'll start with some hockey. I've got some random ones in here, so just be ready. We'll start with some hockey. Sebastian Aho I'll go game 1 or game 2. So one of the games in Washington will set a career high in hits.
What's his career high?
5.
5?
He's had 5 in a single game twice in his career. Never 6. So predicting something that's never happened before is going to happen in a postseason game is not bold enough.
You said either game 1 or game 2.
All right, I guess I'll go game 1 then. If that's you kind of led me there.
I need a little bit more specificity. That's a little too broad. Hey, at some point in his career, he's going to have.
It was the next 2 games.
Yeah,
the road games to start a postseason.
More specifics.
Postseason series. Aho is missing practice. He wasn't on the ice today for personal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The Twitterverse is highly speculating that there may be a a birthday perhaps taking place. Somebody might be introduced. Maybe that he would be a father to.
A little guppy? No.
Exactly. Fishy. Sea bass, baby. What's that? What's a baby sea bass called? Now, I don't have any confirmation of that. I don't know what's happening, and I wouldn't report it if I did. But like from this kind of gambling, bold predictions, right? Kind of like, you're looking for value. I'm gonna take the chance that that's right, and then I'm gonna assume that he's starting the next series with an unknown dad strength that he has never had before, and that means he's gonna be throwing his weight around in ways that he hasn't during his career, and dad strength is gonna lead to 6 or more hits in the game opener. Next up.
Again, that's all speculation. We don't fully know.
That's what I said. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you because that's not our business to tell him. But I don't know. Next one, we'll go Andrei Svechnikov. No, I'm not going to do the Martinuk thing. 3 or more goals in this series. Okay.
He had 3 in one game.
You think it's going to happen? You think he's going to get just another hat trick?
Hey, why not?
The reason why you remembered that is because it's unusual. 4 or more goals in the series. Keep in mind, 5 is as many as been scored by a single player in a Kane series ever. So you want him to tie the most that's ever been in a series by a Kane in back-to-back series. 5 or more goals for Andrei Svechnikov. I mean, I hope so. I really hope I'm right. Dennis, we had a conversation earlier today about jobs. We were just talking, as coworkers do, about jobs we had earlier in our career.
Oh, yeah.
And these were like hard-hitting journalism jobs, right? Yours more than mine. Kentucky Derby is this weekend.
Okay.
The prediction is the horses named Journalism and Publisher go 1 and 2 in honor of the media. Any order, Journalism, Publisher.
Sure. I'll take it.
Journalism's the betting favorite.
Really?
Publisher is a really long shot. Journalism's 3-1, Publisher 30-1. So if either of those 1 and 2, Journalism and Publisher, that's a shout out to the hardworking, investigative, and government-covering journalists that are out there grinding. At least you'd have a horses kind of semi-related to your industry running well.
Hey, been there, done that. I've done my FOIA requests.
I was going to say, you've done the journalism part, not the horse racing part.
No, definitely not the horse racing part, no.
All right, next up. Teteroa McMillan leads rookies in touchdown receptions.
Leads rookies in touchdown receptions. Trying to think of all the other, where some of the other rookie wide receivers, even running backs have landed.
Travis Hunter to the Jags is a very popular one.
Yeah, I know.
First rounder Matt Golden goes to Green Bay.
I'm thinking Tyler Warren.
Colston Loveland goes to Chicago. A couple of tight ends. Warren went to the Colts. What else we got? Emeka Egbuka went to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I don't see him doing it.
You could go second round. There's Higgins. Jaden Higgins goes early in the second to Houston. Trey Harris goes a little bit later in the second to the Chargers. I'm just naming people now. Maybe Travion Henderson with the Patriots could catch a bunch out of the backfield as kind of that role.
You know what?
I'll
give you that one. I
feel like I worked hard for that.
So I'm thinking that, you could argue that Tyler Warren, just because you don't know who the quarterback is going to be, but that's a trustworthy safety valve. I don't think Colston Loveland, just because there's too much good around him with DJ Moore and Roman Dunze.
A lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah, I'd say there's just a little bit more balance with that offense.
Luther Burden went there as well.
Yeah, that's a good pickup for them too. So, if McMillan leads raw rookies in touchdown receptions, I'd say that's bold.
He's 6'4 plus. He's got to be a red zone option, right?
Believe it or not,
got to be.
The Panthers were actually 8th in the NFL in red zone touchdown percentage last year. That's actually the one area where they excelled in.
Is this one of those you don't want to know the real cause? Is that because they didn't make it to the red zone often?
There's also that. When they got there, they were good. Now, granted, most of those came running the football.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, I got a feeling McMillan, I don't know if he'll get ridiculous amount of yards and catches, but I'm feeling touchdowns.
Yeah.
Touchdowns. I've got some random ones here. We'll go Taylor Hall scores in game 1. Taylor Hall scores and has an assist in game 1.
I'll take that.
He's got new money, right? He just signed the extension. He's playing loose. He's got a home. He's stability out there making it happen. This one's kind of I don't know why. The NBA has its first woman head coach next year.
That's a prediction?
Yes. So I wrote this before they announced. So Greg Popovich is stepping down from his head coaching role with the Spurs. He's moving into a front office role. They have already announced who his replacement is going to be. It's the one that's been the interim for this year since Popovich has had his health issues. Before I knew they named that guy was going to be the I thought maybe it was a Becky Hammon opportunity because she had been on Greg Popovich's staff for a long time and has since gone on and won, I believe, WNBA championships. And it just seemed like it made sense. So I threw that in there, and then I learned it wasn't. But maybe that means Becky Hammon goes after other roles. She was probably waiting for the Spurs role. Now that she maybe didn't get the ensuing deal. Yeah, I'm just going to go there. All right, do we have time for... I've got a Panthers and a Canes. Which do you like? We have time for one more.
Give me a Canes one.
Canes put up at least one shutout. Round 2. It just seems like they're due for a game where they get ridiculous puck luck. Right? It seems like they've had a lot going against them in that respect. It's one of those games where, like... You know the movie For the Love of the Game? With Kevin Costner?
Absolutely.
He throws... Spoiler alert for a movie that came out, 97?
Yeah, it was late 90s.
He throws a perfect game, but there's like 9 of the top 10 on SportsCenter top 10 the next day were going to be catches and fielding plays made by guys behind him. So yeah, did you actually pitch that well, or did your defensive guys just make unbelievable plays? I'm not sure that the Canes goalie is going to stand on his head, but I think you could just get a ridiculous amount of puck luck and have a shutout. They're due, is what I'm saying. All right, that's real bold predictions. You know what we should do? Maybe next time, maybe next week. I want the bell and the buzzer. I think we should flip it. It looks like fun from your end. I'm over here working hard. I'm arguing all about the. At one point, I argued that Travion Henderson has a possibility of leading the league in rookie touchdown receptions as a running back for the Patriots. I'm working hard over here, and you're just bing, bing. Next week, or some point, we're going to play a little roller coaster. At some point, we are. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9. The Fan. We have the starting 5 coming up next. We'll definitely get to that. It's coming up.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm legitimately emotional about this.
I know.
To watch the handshake line at the end and to see Pesci and Slavin and Stahl and Aho and Brindamore. I wanted to just have a camera on Brett Pesci. I thought it was interesting that there was a lot of love for Dougie Hamilton. Even Eric Haula. Aho and Haula were talking like they were old buddies.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
Marcy Bailey here to remind you that Mother's Day is right around the corner. Show your love and appreciation for Mom with something sparkly wrapped up in a Bailey box. We've curated an amazing Mother's Day gift guide with beautiful jewelry for every style and budget. Shoppable at BaileyBox.com. We also have all the top designers like David Yurman, Lagos, and Hippolyta, along with our highly sought-after Bailey's collections. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler from the Triangle to the coast.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in the Triangle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure. Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Tonight, a 30% chance of a thunderstorm through the evening hours. 67 the low. Saturday, rain chances about 30% during the day, so not too bad. A high of 88 degrees. The better chance of rain and thunderstorms will come after 8 p.m. Saturday night, overnight, and through about noon on Sunday. Sunday's high falls to 78.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 564 points to 41,317. Market update brought to you by the Body Armor State Games. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is 5 o'clock on a Friday. How about it? We made it through the week, everybody.
You did it, folks.
Cheers. Shortly after the show. Not on air, at least not too much. Let's go ahead and jump into the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
From the house that we lived in before we moved here when we were in Virginia Beach, we were close enough to the military base that you could hear the horn every morning, and they would play the national anthem and all that kind of stuff. I was always excited when I was outside and they started the. It was good times. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend. Yeah, for two minutes, a little bit more, we're gonna be watching horses.
Yeah, the one time a year we all pretend like we care about horse racing.
I'm going to throw this out there about horse racing. I've never been to the Kentucky Derby, but I've heard it's actually even more so. It is one of the events. Go there in person. I've been to the Preakness, one of the other Triple Crown races. Different experience being there and obviously getting to like walk up to the window and place bets and everything else rather than just sitting on your couch and watching. So if you're somebody like Dennis that's like, I don't care about horse racing except for those 2 minutes. I'm just if you can get an invite. I understand the Kentucky Derby is more difficult. If you can get an invite, I believe it's worth it.
I don't care even during those 2 minutes. I don't care about horse racing. But I hear the Kentucky Derby is a fun party and a good time.
I'll tell you how much I care about it. Because we can, by the way, I don't think horse racing betting is even legal here in like on the apps and stuff in North Carolina.
I have no idea.
Every state has different regulations. I don't believe we can on our like normal sports gambling apps bet on the horse racing. But I'll tell you how much I care about horse racing. I care as long as a Triple Crown is still alive. So after the Kentucky Derby, I go, all right, now I know who I'm rooting for, right? I don't know who I'm rooting for until after the Kentucky Derby because I root for Triple Crown because that seems cool. So, right, I need no matter who wins the Kentucky Derby, they're going to be alive for the Triple Crown, and that's who I'm going to be rooting for. Do you know who takes it more seriously than both Dennis and I?
Who?
Xavier Legette.
Yeah.
Xavier Legette, last year's first-round pick wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, has been named the NFL's social correspondent at the Kentucky Derby.
Now this I'll get excited for.
He is quickly becoming like a internet legend. Because he has an accent that some people find entertaining. He is from South Carolina. 2, because he is legitimate, like he's a horse guy. He grew up riding horses. He has a horse named Dollar Bill. He just got another horse, and the name is, I'm blanking on it, but it was all over the internet. So he's going to be at the race. He's going to be there all weekend. He's going to be the social media correspondent for the NFL at the Kentucky Derby. If he scores a touchdown, he rides the horse as
he rides Dollar Bill.
His celebration. So it's earned. I like when this kind of stuff happens. Similarly, Mike Trout. I don't know why this popped into my head. Mike Trout, who's hurt again. Apparently, one of his hobbies is he's obsessed with like meteorology, right? Because he's getting paid over $500 million. So he's spent like real money on like meteorology equipment, and he likes trying to predict the weather and seeing how good he is and all that sort of stuff. And I remember he was mic'd up during like the All-Star game, and they said like, "Is it hot down there?" And he went into like a long, like, well, actually the pressure systems and we're getting some da. And like I like learning that about like really really good athletes is what hobbies do you have? And for Xavier Legette and the Panthers, horses, one of his things. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
He'll leave it here for Orlov. Orlov wants to make a move. Up top, Svechnikov, he scores! That's the magic! We're tied at
3! The NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, are going on, right? And we know that because the Canes are waiting to find out when they're going to play in the second round against the Washington Capitals. Is there any update on that? Still nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a darn thing.
We do not know when game 1 will be for that series. Still waiting on the NHL to schedule it. But there were a bunch of other games going on in addition to the Canes wrapping up their series and a day later the Caps wrapping up their series. It was a bad day yesterday for the we decide who wins trades very quickly crowd.
Oh, okay.
They've been, the Canes fans have been very much celebrating in the lack of production of Mikko Rantanen. Can't say I've been not enjoying it, right? A little double negative there. I've been enjoying it a little bit. There's also been a bit of a, guess what? Martin Necas also not performing a bunch once the postseason started. Mm-hmm. They both had big days. The Avalanche beat the Stars 7-4 last night. Which does push their series to a Game 7. It's now 3-3. Mikko Rantanen had 3 assists and a goal scored on 4 goals scored by the Stars. So 3 assists and a goal, pretty darn good. I'm not disagreeing with you. And then Necas had a goal and an assist as well as the Avalanche went on to win 7-4. So Stankoven, we're going to need another 2 goals in Game 1. Like we need to get back up on the score. No, I'm completely kidding about that. Trades are decided over years and years and years who won, not over one series or 1 month or anything like that. But yeah, it was
unless the Canes hoist the cup, then we definitely won it.
Can't lose a trade and win the cup. That perfect example. This frustrated the heck out of me, and I don't even know who it was, and I'm not going to call him out by name. but I did tweet it out at the moment. NFL draft night. We're going to go on a quick side tangent here. We had a couple minutes. I've budgeted it in. NFL draft, the big trade, right? The monster. The Browns traded from number 2 back to number 5. The Jags went from the 5th pick up to the 2nd pick, and it included future first-round picks, and it was a big blockbuster deal. And just about everybody was saying the Jags overpaid. The Jaguars went up to get Travis Hunter, number 2, right? And they paid a pretty penny. And there was a analytic thinking report, like I don't even know what we call them. They're sports content creators who are always trying to create new stats, right? The people that are like deep into the analytics, and they tweet out like, well, actually, this team won the draft based on value of perceived XY Niner on the Y-axis with the delta of change over 6 weeks. I'm just like, okay. So anyway, the tweet said, even if the Jags win the Super Bowl and their pick next year is 32 overall, the Jags still lose this trade by a wide margin, and they gave like a value on the trades. And I had to respond, if the Jags win the Super Bowl, they won the trade, because the whole goal isn't to accumulate value on whatever scale you've created. The whole goal is to win the Super Bowl. If they do that, they didn't overpay. It's the we'll call it the Kawhi Leonard rule, right? The Raptors gave up a whole bunch for just like 6 months of Kawhi Leonard, and then Kawhi Leonard up and left and went to the Clippers. But in that 6 months, the Raptors won an NBA championship. Fantastic trade. Unbelievable decision by the organization. If you win the championship, good on you. Right? Oh, the Rams, they gave up Jared Goff and 2 first-round picks for Matt Stafford. What a terrible trade. Matt Stafford won him a Super Bowl. Fantastic trade. I don't care if you overpaid at twice the price. It's a good day. So, yes, if the Canes win this Stanley Cup, really any Stanley Cup with Stankoven on the roster, great trade. Great trade. End rant. That was number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
Evans has it. He'll launch and hit. Showtime Slim takes the lead to 13.
That's an Isaiah Evans of Duke highlight. We're going to divide up number 3 here because I've got something else I want to talk about. Isaiah Evans put his name into the NBA draft after announcing that he was coming back to Duke. I'm just going to say my gut feeling. My gut feeling is he's just doing that to go through the process, learn, find out what the NBA wants him to approve upon, and then take his name out before the deadline to bail on the draft and go back to Duke. In the transfer portal, there's been some – this is the transition here to the other part of number 3. In the transfer portal, there's been some news for Will Wade and NC State and in the just recruiting world. PJ Haggerty, do we have the official word yet? Because all I'm seeing – is more and more and more insiders predicting that PJ Haggerty will commit to NC State. For those of you that don't know, he is the number 1 guard in the transfer portal this entire session, like this entire cycle of transfer portal, not just of available players. Number 2 player according to 247, number 1 guard according to 247. And within the last 10 hours, a boatload of predictions from insiders have pegged PJ Haggerty to NC State.
He was the American Athletic Conference Player of the Year, was also the American Athletic Conference Tournament MVP, and a second-team All-American for Memphis. Just to give people some context about how good this guy actually is.
3rd leading scorer amongst all Division I men's basketball players. And the only one of the top 3 returning this year. Everybody else was a senior. So the leading returning scorer in the country. There was a report from the Field of 68 that at the beginning of his transfer portal recruitment, Haggerty and his people, his representation, I don't know what to call them in college, were asking for north of $4 million a year and only wanted to go somewhere that would commit to playing him the majority at point guard. First of all, For NC State to be in the lead for a player that's asking for that kind of money, even if they've negotiated it down, is good because it shows that State has resources that they didn't have in the last few years to go spend on NIL. And that's in addition to all of these other players that they've brought out of the portal. They already have 6 of them, which I assume comes with some NIL tag and a 5-star, at least a 5-star. Other players as well coming out of high school, and Matthew Abel. I'm sure those were all money moves. So, State has some cash. How about that? Something that, in the previous coaching regime was often talked about as something they didn't really have a huge amount of cash to spend. So that's good for State fans right there. Secondly, I'm gonna give the full timeline of today's show. The Haggerty news that he was being predicted came out earlier. We talked about it, and I ran through every single player that is on NC State's roster currently or that is committed to NC State's roster currently, and I read all of their heights because none of them were taller than 6'9", and a whole bunch of them weren't even, 6'6", 6'5". We're looking at like 6'3", 6'4", 6'2", 6'2", like that kind of deal. And I said, they got to get height. They get that like they're doing a great job, and if they get Haggerty, they're doing an unbelievable job on the perimeter. But what does that do when the other team just keeps tossing it into the post and you got, you can't accumulate it, right? It's like, well, we don't have one tall guy, but we got 2 short guys. We'll play 6. Doesn't work. So I said they had to get height. Then we went on. We talked about something else. We played a game. We had some fun on a Friday. And like a half hour later, NC State basketball and Will Wade have landed 6'11", 231-pound center Paul Mbaya, and I might not be pronouncing that correctly. This is my first time learning about him today. In the 2025 class, according to Pac Pride sources, he is a Congolese big man who chose NC State over offers from Kansas, Oregon, Kansas State, and several others. And he's not your traditional class of 2025 recruit because he is a 20-year-old who has played for 3 years at the NBA Academy in Senegal. So he's an older, you'd think more body-developed player than you would get at a normal incoming freshman. So that's a pretty good response, right? When you see it every once in a while where it's like extra perfect. Someone's yelling at you about something that you already did, and you just wait till they're done yelling and then go like, oh, by the way, I did that yesterday. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I kind of feel like that just happened because I was like, you need height. You got all these great perimeter players, but you're short. We just watched UNC struggle because they didn't have appropriate size down low, and on and on and on. And then State was like, oh, by the way, here's a 6'11", 230-pound, 20-year-old center ready to answer for everything you just said. It's like, oh, okay. Well, keep up the good work. We'll see you next time. Good job. That was number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. To Withers on the left sideline, hands off to R.J. Davis, back to Cadeau. He's going to get into the lob action with Vidal and Lubin, who hammers it home.
What do we hear? Oh, we have UNC basketball playing Ohio State in Atlanta. That news broke not too long ago. The ACC, particularly the teams that carry some cachet in the ACC, the teams that, get ranked in the top 25 every year on name alone, they are not sometimes, Dennis, I need you to correct me on slang. They duck no smoke. Huh?
Yeah, we'll go with it.
All right. UNC playing Ohio State in Atlanta is just another opportunity for them to prepare and become battle tested for what they expect every year, which is a run into the NCAA tournament, right? I know that they've had their struggles as of late, but they're still UNC and they're still operating like we schedule our non-conference in a way that prepares us to go chase a national championship. And that's how they should be doing it. And the same is true for Duke. The same is true for a few other schools. But I love that the teams in the ACC, even as everybody tells us, the ACC is down and they're falling behind and all these things, and they're not the same since all those coaches retired, and they only got, what was it, like 4, but really 3 teams in the NCAA tournament and all these other things, that they're still like, fine, play us then. ball up, anytime, anywhere. Ohio State and Atlanta, deal. Duke announced Texas and Charlotte, let's play, ball up.
Ohio State was one of those teams that was on the fringe, on the bubble of making the NCAA tournament last year, where UNC was that last team in.
So, hey, you got it. You got beef? Ball don't lie. Check up. That's what granted, both teams are probably turning over rosters darn near completely.
There's 4 guys left over between the two teams.
I'm going to need the rest of y'all to really get mad for me because I was on the team and I'm still hurt about it. Matter of fact, I'm mad at you, transfer that came in from one of the other teams that made the tournament. It's got to be weird, office politics on college basketball teams now. I hate all the love that the Big 12's getting. I was in the Big 12 last year, so I kind of get it. Well, okay, fine. We can unite against the Big 10. Somebody else stands up. Actually, I was in the Big 10 last year, so cool it. Transfer portal, man. Transfer portal. That's number 2. Let's hit number 1.
Go one! Wanted to get it to Jarvis off the boards. Back for Gossesbear. Oh! Game over! Series over! Sebastian Aho wins it on the power play in overtime!
The second round Stanley Cup playoff series between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Washington Capitals will start at a point in the future. We don't know what that is yet.
We don't know that point.
It will start, I promise you. That's all I have. They have not scheduled the game 1 yet, but the series will happen, right? So I thought we'd play one of our favorite thought exercises. Who's the one player, if you could choose, right? The hockey leprechaun or the hockey gods came and knocked on your door and said, hello, you can pick one player on the Carolina Hurricanes to have a great series. We're talking individually. One player to play their top potential, excluding goalies. Right? That's like the Angels in the outfield thing. You can't impact a championship. Right? The one rule is you are not allowed to pick a goalie. Who are you picking? Now, last series, I said Svechnikov. You said, was it Aho?
Aho.
Well, I think we did all right there.
I think we did just fine.
Svech had 5 goals, including a hat trick, and played really well the entire series. Aho started a little slow, but finished with a bang, scoring the series clincher. Actually, the tying goal and the series clincher in second overtime of Game 5.
3 straight multi-point games.
3 straight multi-point games was part of the comeback in Game 3, which I know they lost, but they were down 2-0, and he and Jarvis kind of dragged them to overtime. They both played really well. So let's enter into the same conversation. You have to pick one Cane and only one Cane to play elite hockey that you can control. They're definitely doing it. Who would you pick? No goalies. Dennis, I'm going to add a rule just for me and you.
Okay.
We can't double up. You can't pick the same player as last time. So I can't go Svech and you can't go Aho. Who are you going with? And we could just flip. You want
we probably could just go flip on this one. If I wasn't going to say Jordan, I was really leaning towards Jordan Staal actually in this
Interesting.
one. But I am going to go Svechnikov.
Okay.
For the simple reason of what he did this last series, especially over the last 3 games or so. But when he plays at that level, we see Carolina as a whole go to a different place.
I agree.
That's the kind of Andrei Svechnikov that we wanted to see during the regular season, and we need to see continue through the postseason. He has to play like that if this team wants to make a deep playoff run. Simple as that.
I'm going to press you on your little intro there. Mm-hmm. Why was Jordan Staal so close in the running?
So to me, Jordan Staal, the deeper you get into the playoffs, obviously you're still playing elite level teams, but the competition's only going to get tougher. He's still going to be matched up against the other team's top line. He's going to be out there with that group. And if he's playing at elite level, shutting the other team's top line down, and the way he possesses the puck on the offensive end, and he's an elite level penalty killer, to me, that's a guy that you really have to have going as well. Because, again, he can shut down the other team's top line himself.
All right. I mean, that's a good answer. I thought I was going to catch him. Not really. It wasn't.
I know.
It was a little bit of softball. I'm going to go with the Rook. Give me Jackson Blake.
Okay. All right. Little Jackson.
Give me Jackson Blake. Kind of with a similar motivation for your explanation of Jordan Staal, where it's only going to get more intense from here, right? It's only going to get more high stakes, more pressure, all of that. And, I mean, Jackson Blake at this time last year was like a month out of playing hockey for UMass. That's Scott Morrow, right?
North Dakota.
I'm sure they're not cool with that. Either way, Jackson Blake is a rookie, is what I'm getting at. I don't know why I'm trying to tell this with like a whole timeline thing. He's a rookie. That's all we need to know, right? He is a rookie. And as is, could have been Stankoven, rookie. I know he had a huge postseason run last year with Dallas, but as things crank up and you're in a role where people are depending on you, like Jackson Blake is skating top line in the NHL against the Washington Capitals in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. If I could just like wave the wand and go, that guy's going to have a great series, I'm picking the rookie because, that takes a lot of, stress. Rod Brindamore would probably appreciate it, right? Just like, I don't got to worry about the rookie. Awesome. All right. I'll just focus all my attention on these veterans over here, the easy part.
And it takes some of that pressure, that pressure to score off of the other top guys. It takes a little bit of pressure off of Aho, a little bit of pressure off of Hall, a little bit of pressure off of Svech if Jackson Blake is also scoring.
Mm-hmm. Chase on Twitter reached out, said it, Svech.
Silky GK on our YouTube live chat said if Svech has 4 or more goals in this next series, he says the Canes win in 6. Will Park said Canes in 6, Svech stays hot. Also, Ali B says Aho has to be great, and I think he has been so far this postseason. Jay said 100% it's got to be Svech. Canes are two totally different teams when he plays his game and stays out of the box versus not shooting and taking bad penalties. Keep rolling, Svech. He also added you mentioned earlier about the Lion King reference. With,
yes. Mufasa was Ovechkin according to Trip Tracy, kind of like Russian hockey, and I went way too down into the this guy would be this and this guy would be that.
Jay also said Stankoven and Jankowski 100% Timon and Pumbaa. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, they showed up halfway through the movie.
Yeah, they did.
It's perfect.
One's way bigger than the other.
Yeah. That actually, well played. Who said that?
That was Jay.
Jay, you get the gold star for the day. There's a lesson in fandom here a little bit. Because Svech right now is having like a PR moment, right? Everybody's very pleased because he played really well in the first round. Think about where he was at the end of the year. And think about how the fan base reaction towards him. They were talking about trades. They were talking about this is not a joke. I think you all were joking, but what I'm telling you is not a joke. There was a point in time where we were waiting on Carrier to come back healthy, and Svech had just come back healthy. And a bunch of guys were playing really well, right? Like Roslovic, maybe not as much, but he was a 20-goal scorer. Jankowski was on the runner. And the question was, all right, you got 13 forwards. Who's going to be the healthy? It was going to be Jost and someone else. Who's the other healthy scratch? And probably like the second most popular answer was Svech. I think a lot of you were joking on that. You were just kind of joking at how maybe out of rhythm he was playing. But to go from that to where he is being talked about now, where it's like, hey, he's the key to everything. Svech is the straw that stirs the drink. He was the best player on the ice, is just a lesson in fandom. And I had a similar kind of microcosm of that in the I think it was the first overtime against the Devils, where there was a possession where Brent Burns got 3 good looks and just rip slap shots from distance. And when I tell you I felt the entire crowd get giddy with like, ooh, Brent Burns could score the game winner. And I'm going like, no, so many of you were talking so badly about him for so long, but it's you can twist on fans will just flip on you on a dime. So if it seems like fans are down on somebody, just know they're literally one good look away from being their biggest fan once again and going to grab that jersey out of the closet that they pushed all the way behind the rest. It's a lesson in fandom there. But Canes, Caps will play. We don't have a start time for you. Wish we did, but we don't. Numbers game. We have that coming up your way, don't you? Numbers game, Bryan Adams tickets with Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo will go to the winner. They're all coming to the Lenovo Center on November 5th. So call in right now if you want to play the numbers game and possibly win those tickets. The number is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to win the tickets. Numbers game next.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the Giants goal!
Let's go, Canes!
Kochetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Celebrate 50 years of adventure at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Enjoy award-winning performances and European-inspired attractions. Feel the excitement of thrilling rides like the all-new Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge, opening in May. And seasonal events like the Food and Wine Festival, where you can taste, sip, and savor more than 150 flavors from around the world, featuring over 80 new menu items, only at the world's most beautiful theme park. Save up to 50% on tickets, fun cards, and memberships. Hurry, offer ends soon. Restrictions apply.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instance for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is happening more and more. My computer's a little slow to update here, Dennis, so I can't see the names of our contestants.
We have Dean and Clayton, and we also have Isaiah up in Wake Forest.
Dean and Isaiah. All right, Dean and Isaiah, you guys are up. I forget already where they were from, so I'll just call you Dean and Isaiah.
Dean and Clayton.
Dean and Clayton.
Isaiah, Wake Forest.
Isaiah and Wake Forest. All right, you guys get to compete for the Bryan Adams tickets with Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. All you have to do is win the numbers game, and those tickets will be yours. So we have to ask a question. Dennis will pick the same question to both of you. Dennis will pick the answer. Pick the answer he thinks is his favorite. That person will get to go first. Goodness. Here we go. Dean, are you ready to answer your question?
I'm here.
All right. So we have the 10K playoff payout going on, and when each of the contestants today were chosen, Dennis played some like celebration music, right? Some tunes, happy vibes. So here's my question. If you were the veteran on a team, right? NFL, NHL, NBA, and pick your favorite team. And you just won the championship, and you have control of the aux cord. You have control of the radio. So as soon as you get back to the locker room, celebration is happening, champagne's popping, and you press play on what song?
It's got to be Celebration by Kool and the Gang. I know I'm going old school, but that's what it'd have to be. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
All right, that's probably the one seed. That's the like chalky pick, but we'll see if it holds up. Isaiah, are you there? Isaiah in Wake Forest. There you are. Same question to you. I'll give you the brief version of it. You're the player on a championship team that is in charge of the iPod or the iPhone, the iTunes, whatever you want to call it, the music. Right after you win a championship, you make your way into the locker room. What's the first song you're hitting play on?
Honestly, probably Up by Forrest Franks.
Out by Forrest Franks?
Up.
Up by Forrest Franks. Sorry, had a hard time hearing you. Dennis, those are the answers. Up by Forrest Franks or Celebration by Kool and the Gang. Which one is your favorite choice?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not super familiar with Up by Forrest Frank. So that one's a little bit out of my – I don't know. I really just don't know that song.
So the question is, do you want to choose the song that literally everybody knows?
That's
Celebration.
the thing, like Celebration.
Or do you want to be put on something new by Isaiah?
You know, I might lean towards the fresh and new. Celebration I think is one of those things that's a little overdone, a little overplayed. So I'll go with Isaiah. I'll go with Up on this one.
All right. Isaiah gets to go first, but Dean, don't worry. You will have your chance. Just stay on the line. Isaiah, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right. NFL players that were drafted in the 2019 draft class, NFL players from the 2018 draft class, NBA players that were all LeBron's teammates at one time or another, and NHL players that are only Hurricanes.
I'll go NFL 2019 draft class.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals.
9.
Incorrect. Terry McLaurin, Washington Commanders.
Is 17.
Correct. Deebo Samuel, San Francisco 49ers.
1.
Correct. Max Crosby, Las Vegas Raiders.
98.
Correct. TJ Hawkinson, Detroit Lions.
87.
Incorrect. Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals.
5.
Incorrect. TJ Hawkinson, Detroit Lions.
85.
Incorrect. Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals.
6.
Incorrect. TJ Hawkinson, Detroit Lions.
89.
You got 3. That was well played. I mean, you had a couple guys you just didn't know, but you kept firing. The strategy of it was solid. Kyler Murray, we were looking for number 1. That one will probably annoy you a little bit.
Yeah.
You got Terry McLaurin with 17. Deebo, we would have accepted 1 or 19. He wore them both. Max Crosby, you got with 98. TJ Hawkinson with the Lions wore 88. I believe he wears 87 with the Vikings, which may have gotten you, but with the Lions, he wore 88. So you got 3, right? 3, that's what we're looking at. All right, cool. Stay on the line. We'll see if 3 holds up. And that means it is Dean's turn. Dean, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players from the 2018 draft class, NBA players that were LeBron's teammates at one time or another, and NHL players, Hurricanes only.
I'm going to go with NBA LeBron teammates.
Okay. I will give you the team and the player. You give me their jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You need at least 4 to win, and you do have 1 pass if you need it. Are there any questions before we jump in?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Russell Westbrook, Los Angeles Lakers.
0.
Correct. Delonte West, Cleveland Cavaliers. Delonte West, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Delonte. Let's see. That's going to be 13.
Correct. Shane Battier, Miami Heat.
Shane Battier is going to be 31.
Correct. Rajon Rondo, Los Angeles Lakers.
Rondo?
I have to admit, your issue was speed. It was pace. It was tempo, because you didn't get any wrong, but you still didn't win because you only heard 3. And a tie goes to whoever goes first, which is why that first question matters. So you got Russell Westbrook. I have nothing to correct. I guess we didn't get to Rajon Rondo. We would have accepted 4 or 9 for those of you playing at home for Rondo.
The Delonte name threw me.
Delonte West.
I misunderstood you.
Well, the good news is, since you didn't win, you can call back in and try again. You don't have to wait until your time period's up. So give it another go, but thank you for playing. Hopefully you had fun.
Oh, I did. Thanks, guys.
All right. And that means Isaiah is the winner. Isaiah, congratulations. I didn't even intend that we kind of chose their celebration song for when they win, but it worked out. All right, Isaiah, congratulations, and thank you for putting us on a new song. Stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. I have to be honest. It's a pretty good upbeat song right there.
I dig it.
Coming in after a win.
I dig it.
I'll tell you, there's a song. It was called "Put Up or Shut Up" by a rapper named Frank Linney that we played in college. Every single win coming into the locker room, we blasted this song. Do not play it, Dennis, because there's not a word in there that is allowed for the radio. I don't even know if it's on the internet. We thought, when I say we, I thought it was like a rap song that everybody knew. I think it was like a buddy of one of my teammates from back home, and we just adopted it as our own. But "Put Up or Shut Up" it like puts me in my happy place because it just meant that we just won a game, and that's like the best feeling in the world. Walking into the locker room after a win, and you're just you that Up song right there by Forrest. I forget what the guy was, but by whatever artist Forrest, that'll put you in a good mood. I'll tell you that much. I'll put you in a good mood. I like optimism. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to all of our contestants. We will play, as always, with a new prize on Monday for next week, right about the same time, 5:30, just about every day. Numbers game here on The Drive. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got to send you into the weekend right. We got to make our picks. It's coming up. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm like legitimately emotional about this.
I know.
To watch the handshake line at the end and to see Pesci and Slavin and Stahl and Aho and Brindamore. I wanted to just have a camera on Brett Pesci. I thought it was interesting that there was a lot of love for Dougie Hamilton. Even Eric Haller. Aho and Haller were talking like they were old buddies.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun-fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-973-6622. That's 800-973-6622. Again, 800-973-6622.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of The Drive brought to you by the Body Armor State Games. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We still don't know when the opening game of the second round series between the Canes and Caps in the Stanley Cup playoffs will be played. But I can tell you it'll be here on 99.9 The Fan. So be ready for that. Whenever it is, tune into 99.9.
By the way, we know when games won't be played here in Raleigh, by the way. Because on Friday next week, a week from today, Shane Gillis, the stand-up comedian, has a show at Lenovo Center. Sunday the 11th, Pearl Jam has a concert. And on Tuesday the 13th, Pearl Jam has a concert.
Okay, so we can process of elimination it a little bit.
So we can, by deductive reasoning, Carolina will play at home either Thursday, Saturday, or Monday. Somewhere in that time frame, they'll play their games 3 and 4.
Okay.
By the closer we get to Sunday, each and every passing minute tells me this series isn't going to start till Monday.
Yeah, and it would be unfair, Saturday morning, but you're playing tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. So yeah, I mean, my best guess, we said it yesterday on the show, best guess was Sunday. I'm now changing my best guess. New information gathered. I'm going to say my best guess is Monday, but that's still just a guess. Just a guess. It will be in Washington, by the way. With that being said, there's still a lot of stuff going on over the weekend. Kind of I would say under the radar, pretty good sports weekend. And with that, we have to make some picks. So, Dennis, what are we picking?
Okay, first one's first. Who wins between the Holly Springs Salamanders and the Crystal Coast Booty Divers in Coastal Plain League baseball action coming up this summer? Tim, who got winning?
I'm sorry. What was that second team?
The Crystal Coast Booty Divers. Formerly the Morehead City Marlins.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Yes, the Crystal Coast Booty Divers for a weekend this summer, starting June 20th, which is right around my birthday, Tim. They're trading in tradition for treasure.
Will you be partaking in? Never mind.
I mean, I bought a shirt.
Booty divers?
Yeah, and a hoodie. So the Morehead City Marlins, which is part of the Coastal Plain League.
Okay.
Which is a summer wooden bat league, which is where college players get to.
It's actually really cool. Like
it really is.
If you haven't experienced it, it's more like an intimate setting and great seats. They're out there grinding. They're really good baseball players. But it's like Cape Cod League. It's got some history in the annals of baseball.
But it's a chance for baseball players to show what they can do in terms of hitting power by using wooden bats. This is really good for pro scouts to actually see what true power that these athletes do have, these baseball players. So Morehead City Marlins, part of the Coastal Plain League, which includes the Holly Springs Salamanders. So obviously go enjoy watching baseball this summer. But again, for a weekend this summer, they will rebrand as the Crystal Coast Booty Divers. Obviously, Pirates Booty is what they're going for.
It's a double entendre.
I don't know what you're talking about. They're going for treasure.
They're diving for booty.
Exactly. Which might be their Blackbeard ship. Might still be there.
If you were to look treasure hunter, if you were to go to like a thesaurus and go treasure, another word for treasure, booty, hunter, another word for hunter, diver, like that, it's a direct, but it's also, if you went the other way with some thesaurus stuff, you could go the other way.
I don't know what you're referring to. Last year, they did rebrand themselves as the Morehead City Motorboaters because, obviously when you're on a boat, you want to use a motor. Paddling out there on the ocean is very difficult. And then, obviously, Morehead City is very much tied in with the Blue Marlin.
Wait. Is the boat built for speed or comfort?
Yes. Why can't it be both?
Motorboating? You motorboating son of a bleep.
Why not? And then also, a couple years ago, they were the Fish Tacos.
That's different kind of funny, but funny.
I mean, Morehead City, obviously known for the Big Rock Fishing Tournament and everything, so that makes all perfect sense. But who do you have? The Crystal Coast Booty Divers or the Holly Springs Salamanders?
No offense to the Holly Springs Salamanders. I'm not picking against the Booty Divers.
Neither am I.
So they win by 6.
Okay. All right. If
transition out of that one, Dennis.
Fine. I could give a final score on that one, but I won't. Game 7 tomorrow. Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche. This game is going to be played in Dallas. Game 7 tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. If you're a hockey fan, just say sports fan, you say the words Game 7, you should lock in.
Avs win, overtime, Jack Drury.
My guy.
I mean, of like the whole, there's a lot of like Canes ties in this. Like this season, you can't tell the story of the Canes this year without both the Avalanche and the Stars. So if there's one of the connections that I want to see play well, Drury. So Drury gets the game winner in OT, and that's how it goes. I don't necessarily want some other guys to play exceptionally well.
Is it a 1-0 final score?
I don't care who scores. I don't want it to be Mikko, and I would probably rather it not be Natchez. Even though I don't put Natchez in the same category as Mikko. There was still some uncomfortable stuff over the years with Natchez. So Jack Drury is the one I would like to see play well.
I love that. All right, next one up here. We have the Houston Rockets taking on the Golden State Warriors tonight. This one is actually going to be in San Francisco. Warriors lead the series 3-2, so they can close out the series tonight against Houston. Golden State, a 5.5-point favorite in this one.
Yeah, I think older teams recognize the importance of ending series early, and Steph, Draymond, like they have some older dudes on that team. So I think the Warriors come out with an urgency that matches the up against elimination opponent, and they win. Big game from Steph, and at least one technical for Draymond. They both have a signature game, which means Steph plays really good basketball and Draymond gets in an argument with a fan and like maybe upon review didn't actually push a ref, but it looked like he did. Some signature games.
Okay, we also have Saturday nights for Game 7s. The LA Clippers, they're on the road taking on the Denver Nuggets. Game 7, Denver at home at Ball Arena. 1.5-point favorites in Game 7 tomorrow night.
You say who's the favorite?
Denver.
Yeah, I think I'm going Denver, but I do feel like I'm picking a lot of favorites here, which I don't like. Yeah, give me Denver. In a Game 7, I like to look for just where's the best player, and Jokic. So give me Denver.
Okay, fair enough. If actually, you know what? Because there's a potential of a Game 7 on Sunday for the NHL. will we get a Game 7 on Sunday in the NHL? The St. Louis Blues at home taking on the Winnipeg Jets. The Blues down in this series 3-2 at home tonight, 8 o'clock. Who do you have out there in the Western Conference?
Yeah, I feel like I think Winnipeg is really good. Yeah, give me Winnipeg. I'm kind of like I don't with very little confidence. Winnipeg wins the game, which should be more confidence. But what are you gonna do?
Winnipeg a -105 on the money line. St. Louis a -115 on the money line at home.
Wow.
Yeah, very very even series played so far. All right, last one. If they play on Sunday, if Canes at Caps, Game 1. If they play on Sunday.
If they play on Sunday, and this is not locking, if they play on Monday, I reserve the right to change this prediction on Monday's show. Canes win.
Okay.
4-3. 4-3. Good day on special teams for the Canes.
All right, I like this.
That's the detail that I will hone in on. Power play goals from, you know what? I'm gonna go top guys being top guys. Aho and Jarvis each get a power play goal.
Okay.
It's one of those. It happens. I don't know if it ever actually happens, but it feels like it happens a lot.
Okay.
Where
give me the bell on that one.
Where Jarvis assists on an Aho goal, and then like a period later, Aho assists on a Jarvis goal.
Yeah.
It just seems like that's kind of it happens. Like they're like, all right, you got yours. Now let's work to give me mine. And again, I don't know if it actually happens, but it feels like it does. So I'm saying that happens. Power plays against the Capitals.
If they do play Sunday, again, you have the right to change this on Monday.
Yes.
First goal scorer. Again, on the road.
Yep.
At Capital One Arena.
Yep. Stankoven.
Stankoven? What period?
First period. He had 2 goals to open it up last series.
He did.
I think you know how you get Mr. Game 7? I think Stankoven a couple years from now, we're calling him Mr. Game 1. The guy always scores in the opener. He always sets the tone. Stanky in the first. What about you?
That's a tough one. I know. I should be prepared to answer my own question here.
We don't have much time.
I'm going William Carrier. William Carrier. First period.
Oh, I don't know. Gosh.
Wild pull.
You put me up against it. Oh, man. William Carrier. Sometimes callers call in, and like the first person will guess Aho in the first, and the second person you can tell was thinking Aho in the first.
Mm-hmm.
So they panic and they choose someone else. But it's always like, Jordan Stahl. You went straight to William Carrier. Pyotr Kochetkov. Sorry, I blacked out. What did I say?
This is the type of series where he's going to have to be.
He's going to have to do a lot outside of goal scoring.
Yeah,
he could be an MVP and score 0 goals in this one if he's handling it the way he should.
He's got to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Exactly. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. We're talking more Canes Caps. Look ahead to start Overdrive. We also have some portal news. Pretty exciting if you're a Wolfpack fan. Until Monday, which I don't know whether to say enjoy the game or not. I don't know whether to tell you to tune in at this time to watch 99 or listen to 99 Fans coverage or not. All I can say is pay attention to the schedule. We'll have the game here on 99.9 The Fan whenever it is. And if it is over the weekend, we'll be reacting to it on Monday. Subscribe to our YouTube. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
A record in sports that would be a big deal if it was broken and we'd all be in on it is 100 points in a game in the NBA.
Oh, yeah, big time.
If I told you within the next 20 years in the NBA, somebody would score 101 points in one game.
I could see it. Couldn't you see a team just waving the white flag and another team taking advantage of that?
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Marcy Bailey here to remind you that Mother's Day is right around the corner. Show your love and appreciation for Mom with something sparkly wrapped up in a Bailey box. We've curated an amazing Mother's Day gift guide with beautiful jewelry for every style and budget. Shoppable at BaileyBox.com. We also have all the top designers like David Yurman, Lagos, and Hippolyta, along with our highly sought after Bailey